comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair. Politics sass and a killer stare. Crazy's lurking tail in the frame. Chat's already playing their games. That target day, sharp and bold. Hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite filth in the way. Still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack. Now buckle in, no looking back. That dark night, let's go!
Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Or good evening, well, midnight for Corbin over here.
That's technically
thank
morning
you for
too
being here.
for me. So
Yeah, technically that's it. So, good morning, everybody. Are you good? You okay? Right. So, welcome, Nicholas. Hi, you guys. And Zaxi. Also, Cameron called you Jab and said squeaky squeaky. Yeah, there you go. It's still happening.
still happening, yeah.
Good night for me, bedtime. Okay, well, we'll see you later, Nicholas. So, guys, we're doing something a little different today. I called it Chat with the Cat. Which, yeah, it's just a chat with me and me asking you questions and hearing you out. And yeah, probably disagreeing and things like that. So we've got Corbin over here. He is previously known on the channel as Jab. And he's become quite active online lately, debating people and yeah. Tell us about yourself, Corbin.
I guess, yeah, I used to be Jab Slant. I used to be a little bit more of a regular guest on the show, but then kind of, I guess, took a not a backstage, but stepped away from kind of online politics for a while, and then just sort of recently started getting into it more, especially post, the 2024 election. I've been a lot more active. So yeah, now I just do debates and news coverage and try and have some, good, hopefully productive conversations.
So, well, then I want to ask you, so you stepped away from online political stuff. What were you doing in that time?
Mostly school and work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of school, a lot of work. Just didn't really have the time for, like content creation. But since I finished my degree, I've had more time recently. Just gen eds. I finished my associates, but after that, I'm probably gonna continue into like computer science.
Okay. Computer science. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So programming.
So you took a little bit of break, but you were consuming political content. You're not creating it, but you were consuming it, hey?
Not creating it, but definitely consuming it.
Okay. What were your main channels?
Like within the last year, or like since I kind of left.
But when you left, what were you doing? Like, if you can think about what were you spending your time watching?
I started getting into more like news update channels where I was kind of following the daily or weekly news a little bit closer, like people like Tyler Brian Cohen or maybe David Pakman. A little bit of what's his name? Or what's its name? There's a news anchor on CNN. I can't remember his name at the moment. But following some of that crowd, I stopped watching like streamers as much. I used to watch a lot more streamers, like obviously Destiny or Hutch back in the day. But yeah, more kind of daily news oriented in terms of my political media consumption.
Why did you stop watching streamers?
I think, like the debate scene, streaming scene that wasn't as breaking news-ish. It was like, like kind of focusing on one topic, and then you're maybe hooked on it for like a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just wasn't feeling like I was staying as up to date as I could have been. So
Okay, cool. But now you're back watching.
now I'm back.
You're back watching streamers because it's streamers suck. That's why. Get out of here, Arachnid.
Yeah, streamers,
so
but still more, I think, daily news than streamers. Although I've definitely
it's
started
not an
watching
either
more
or situation,
again.
right? But you don't sit. You don't sit in people's chats.
Yeah,
for
especially
the whole
since
day.
I've like been debating half these fuckers anyway.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So you these fuckers. That's another thing I've noticed. That in the initial times that we had interactions, when you were Jab, you were quite normal.
Normal. Okay.
Yes, you were not as abrasive. And it came as quite a shock when we first had you back on the Thinkers, and you were quite abrasive. That doesn't mean that I expected you to agree with us. And I mean, there's lots of disagreement between the
Wait,
Thinkers.
when was that?
It was a couple months ago, I think. You came on, and it like you were eating, and then you just randomly threw insults at panelists to see what they would do, and that was weird because
I think it might have been. Was that when we were talking about Epstein?
Might have been. We talk about
so.
things that cause people to disagree,
Right.
and it just seemed
I did like
weird.
I did a little more kind of memey stuff on that. I think I made I think I may have thrown a couple of little jabs at Dorcas just because he's very conservative and I'm not, and we've had like some kind of heated discussions in the Discord, so there was a little bit of history there. I don't know if I was like kind of memey towards anyone else. I think I apologized to him though after the fact. I'd have to go and relook.
Oh, did you speak to him privately? Because
I think so.
When you
I'd have to
say
check
like kind
my
of
DMs.
sorry at the end, it was kind of like you were memeing in your sorry. But I'm not here to have that struggle session. I'm just actually trying to say it seemed like there's quite a change in the way that you interact with people online, and I was wondering what happened that caused that. Or if you just
well, I think I've changed specifically how I speak to maybe conservatives or Republicans, just because my brain has kind of been repeatedly broken over and over again by how unbelievably like insane, unhinged, and hypocritical like a lot of MAGA are.
Okay, so you became a bit more sensitive to the other side. You kind of feel like no matter who you're talking to, if you know that they're conservative, they are those things in your head. Instead of this is Dorcas in front of me, this is a person, let's see what they think.
Well, I try to be a little bit more understandable towards, just like the constituents, the normal people. I've been mostly attacking like politicians or lawmakers or the president himself or other pundits. Not so much, I think, like just like, your average whatever person.
Well, we've never been called a pundit, and you called me a pundit on Twitter. It was quite cute.
Well, I mean, you kind of are. Like at least on like kind of like a low level,
And so that was also like I was saying to you before we started, that you are quite aggressive on Twitter, and I suppose you're trying to get conversations, right?
Part of it, that's part of it. Another part of it, though, is I think having to treat my political opponents more so as what they are. Sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade.
Okay. So you
Which
can't play
is
nice.
yeah, like I don't think I don't know if there's like another big like content creator or pundit that's Republican. I don't know if I want to normalize their politics by playing nice with them. I don't know if that's
Okay.
something that I want to be in the business of doing.
So yeah, so you something's kind of broken there. It's like playing nice is over.
hmm
I want to ask you what your political journey has been like, developing. What is your
What
how did you start off? I mean, you're pretty young, but
mhm.
what has been your political
Well, I grew up
political development?
very Republican. And then kind of over time, I transitioned more into obviously like liberal, kind of center left Democrat is what I would describe myself as.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest turnoff specifically from MAGA Republicanism
Mm-hmm.
was obviously after January 6th. That was pretty fucking unhinged. And funnily enough, it wasn't, you know, like some liberal commentator or streamer or whatever pundit that I was listening to at the time that drove me away from, you know, kind of
Yeah.
the extremes of the right. It was Ben Shapiro. I watched a lot of Ben Shapiro at the time
Mm-hmm.
when he was still kind of like on the verge of being a never Trumper kind of neocon, you know, like he at the time was super critical of Donald Trump, especially in the wake of January 6th. I think he was I think like the day after he had called it an insurrection, which is pretty hard to see him doing nowadays.
So you think people have also he's gotten more polarized as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's gone more extreme. We do love that.
As the
Sorry.
Republican right, as Trump has wrapped the Republican right more and more around his finger, the less room there is for criticism of Trump. Because it's a pretty dogmatic ideology, I don't think there's any room. There's no room for disagreement without being ostracized.
Yeah, I would agree with you in terms of the like what is termed MAGA. Like there was the most easy one to cite is when I think it was Kyle Rittenhouse said something that was against Trump.
Yeah,
and
I think he said that he preferred. I think he said that he didn't like Trump's gun control legislation. Like Trump did that big bump stock ban, and he said he preferred like more of a, I think, Ron Paul type over Trump, and then he got like fucking lambasted for it. Or another good example is Joe Rogan.
To apologize.
Yeah. Another good example was fucking Joe Rogan. He said, I think he was critical of Trump's debate performance against Kamala. He also said that he preferred I don't even know if he said it, but like maybe implied that he would prefer like an RFK Jr. to Trump. And then Trump like publicly lambasted him. And all of MAGA media was just completely destroying Joe Rogan. And then like 2 weeks later, Rogan has Trump on his podcast and gives him his full-throated support.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that that this mechanism of, you know, basically pure, you have to be pure MAGA or pure whatever, do you think that doesn't exist on the left?
Not for the core of the party.
The core of the party.
So the Democratic establishment.
Mm-hmm. The Democratic, like the official Democratic.
Yeah, like establishment Dems, like, you know, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, maybe even Bernie Sanders or AOC, or kind of like the standard Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, kind of standard, like traditional Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
For that crowd, for that liberal portion of the Democratic Party, which is most of it, I don't think there's that level of like cult-like purity testing that occurs on the right.
Okay, so when you're talking about Democrats, there, you are talking about actual politicians, not political figures.
Well, politicians and pundits.
Yeah,
Like,
because yeah,
I don't. So a good example is people were way more critical of Joe Biden pardoning Hunter Biden than the right was critical of Donald Trump pardoning whatever 1,400 J6 insurrectionists.
yeah. That they have different political views. It would obviously, that would happen. There would be, they see Hunter Biden as an individual who's just being Hunter Biden. He's just doing an individual thing, and then the J6s are actually doing a political action that is supposedly on their side. So I can see, I don't see huge hypocrisy there. I think they just see that somebody's doing something personal for their child there. But
well, you don't think that like MAGA Republicans thought that like Hunter Biden wasn't doing like weird political maneuvering or like corrupt shit for Joe Biden? Or
I also want to ask you, because we're talking about MAGA Republicans, I have no doubt that there are frothy, is what I call them, frothy Republicans. And I suppose you are like, they are dangerous. They need to be absolutely attacked, and there's no playing nice with them. But what about normal Republicans and independents? What about
are we talking about voters right now, or are we talking about
people?
Pundits?
The pundits, voters, everything. Do you agree
Well,
that
because
there are normal Republicans?
I'm going to treat these groups of people differently. I don't think that the majority of like MAGA Republican voters, like think Donald Trump is like, the next coming of Christ, who's like an authoritarian. I think just a lot of them are really politically uninformed. Okay. So I'm gonna treat the pundits a lot harsher because they're the ones pushing the misinformation, while the constituents, the voters, the people who don't have time in their day-to-day to do political reading and research, I'm not going to be as judgmental as them, because there's not as much of a responsibility for them to be completely accurate with their information.
So you're focused on converting the MAGA right, I suppose.
I'm focused on, I don't know if I'd say I'm focused on them right now. I probably would want to focus on like the moderate independents who aren't as dug into like all the weird conspiratorial like shit, like people who just voted for Trump because they thought inflation was too high. Like that's probably the crowd that I want to orient around.
Okay, that's okay. That is good. That, I suppose that's what everybody was saying when the Democrats lost, is that you got to focus on the center and the independents, so that the people that are that got disillusioned with the Democrats and voted for Trump because Trump was something else.
Mm-hmm. But the pundits are a different story. I'm not, like I said, I'm not in any place where I want to be friendly to Republican pundits.
Do you think being friendly to Republican pundits, or not being friendly to Republican pundits, is going to win those people over to your side, the center? Do you think that like owning them is going to make the center and the independents and all of those kind of okay Republicans, or people who voted for Trump? Would that change them? Do you think that that's the best strategy for you?
Well, it seems like it worked for the Republicans. Like Trump was the first Republican president to win the popular vote like since 2000 or 2004. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, what's Trump's entire political strategy other than berating and, like, memeing and being like bullyish towards his political opponents?
Mm-hmm. And you think this is exclusive to Trump?
Not.
Don't you think it's
do
in
you mean
politics
on
everybody...
both parties?
Both parties. To me, it seems like politics itself is about othering your opponent and saying they are incompetent, they are this, they are that, they, and selling yourself and saying, look what we are, and them, they're the problem. I think that's...
I mean, the left is
regardless.
the left can definitely be harsh on Trump, but the left was significantly more civil and diplomatic when criticizing Donald Trump. Like, if you want to look at leadership, Joe Biden, right, when calling out the MAGA right, I think he caveated like so fucking much in his speech with like the whatever red background that people love to obsess about for 2 to 3 years. He said MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy, but it's not even the majority of MAGA Republicans. It's, we don't need to name names. It's not even like, a huge portion of the party, but those that, small minority are still dangerous, right? He caveated so fucking much, and people just, the Republicans didn't seem to care. You know?
Well, yeah, and then that mechanism applies again to on the other side, where it's Trump says something, like makes even a joke, and everybody explodes. What do you feel about the mainstream media? Because you're talking about misinformation and things like that. How do you feel about mainstream media? You said you watch news channels.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about them? What do you feel about the mainstream media? Yeah,
I think they're generally pretty good.
They're good. You don't feel
generally
that
accurate, yeah.
Accurate. So do you not think that they put editorializing into it, so they also fuel these fires? Is that a good thing to you?
Do the editorial like are they biased?
They give their opinions.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
It's not
of
like
course they're...
here is the shooter. It's like, the shooter was so sweet to his girlfriend in the...
No, I think that mainstream media sources, like, they have editors, they have research boards, they have newsrooms, they have sponsors, they have people that... there's so many different like barriers to entry where, like, a lot of the stuff is going through multiple hands, whereas the difference between something like CNN and between that and Tim Pool is, well, Tim Pool is like one guy with like a team of other people that aren't really incentivized to report on things accurately, other than what the audience most immediately wants from them, or from whatever Russia wants them to say that day.
So they have more resources. That means that they would have more.
Well, no, I mean, there's a better apparatus. There's more infrastructure. There's more processes and systems at play within these, big corporate mainstream places. So like a really good example.
That would apply to Fox as well.
I would say it used to apply to Fox, but I think they've become just a huge right-wing, like propaganda piece for the current administration. Do you know about Dominion v. Fox News?
The court case. I don't know exactly how it ended.
So it was like one of the largest defamation settlements in corporate defamation history. Almost $1 billion. Fox News had lost in that settlement because like they were pretty much like unequivocally proven to have pushed like knowingly false information surrounding Dominion voting machines. So like you can see like leaked emails and texts from people like Fox News, from people like Tucker Carlson. That's why he was fired from Fox News. saying like, oh, well, Sidney Powell, Trump's lawyer at the time, is coming on here and spewing all this nonsense. I hate the fact that we have to push this stuff, but we have to keep up with, like these other independent news sources like AON, or News, I think it was Newsmax at the time, that were pushing like a lot of election fraud issues. And Fox News was basically losing viewership to those people because Donald Trump had like publicly lambasted them for initially accurately reporting on the election results back in 2020.
Okay, so when it comes to Fox, for you, that's it. It's Fox is the one that's MSNBC, all of those ones, they are untouched essentially.
Yeah, I don't know if I could name a single left wing, like, of course, the left has lied, and of course, these mainstream outlets are perfect. Like, they've definitely gotten a lot of things wrong, but I don't know if I could name a single thing that was as bad as that Fox v. Dominion case.
Okay, okay, so that is your gold standard, that it's like, listen, hello, it's an election and you're talking crap about it. It's just
the extent to how like every single pundit was aware that what they were saying was bullshit. Like you have Fox Fox executives in leaked emails talking about how like they know that what they're pushing is false. And their whatever research room had like kind of proven whatever Sidney Powell and Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani were coming on, spewing was like pretty much bullshit. So it was coordination from like a top down level with like some of their biggest pundits. Like every single person in Fox News was aware that what they were pushing was bullshit. So and they pushed it anyway.
They pushed it anyway. Okay, so awareness is very important to you. It's not like, oh, they were misinformed, they had the wrong...
of course, like everyone gets information wrong. Some people do it maliciously, even on the left. But generally speaking, I don't know if I can name like any piece of deliberate disinformation that rises to that level from any of these other like mainstream or even like independent liberal news sources.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, so actually, I just want to ask you this question about the Dominion thing, right? So that sort of stuff, that sort of reporting, do you think that that's resulted or that influenced? I'm sure you will go on about Trump being the proper catalyst for that, but do you think, there's Kumage is bringing up Covington kids for the misinformation, but what I'm asking you about is, because I'm taking,
just for the record, the Covington kids thing was bad. Like no one but even then, like I think they weren't
lying.
It wasn't to that extent. Yeah.
Okay. Because it wasn't an election or something for you.
Well, it wasn't just. It's not that it was just an election, but I don't know if like every single, like from the top executives down to the editing room, down to up to the pundits, were like all like through a chain of command systematically lying about information.
Yeah, so it's not, in your opinion, not as bad. So that's the thing. People, I suppose, they're like, they want me to start fighting with you on these things. I just want to see what your actual views are without fighting you about it. Like, this is what you believe. So when I'm asking you now what your brain did with the, say, Dominion and election fraud, all of those stories, right? Did they lead to, are they responsible for January 6th?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. So the discourse around something can lead to action.
Yeah, of course.
Whether or not somebody says,
hey, it depends.
Go and get together and go and do January 6th or not. It kind of, it helps you move past morals and say, oh, this is right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's go into Charlie Kirk now, because the main thing that once this happened, everybody is trying to say who's the one that created this environment, which side created this environment for this shooting to happen. First of all, the guys, don't worry, Corbin is yawning because it is late for him and he's stayed up late for me, so I appreciate it. With Charlie Kirk,
I'm just really bored by. No, I'm just kidding.
So one of the things, okay, let's first say Charlie Kirk himself. That's the reason I want to get into Charlie Kirk. But one of the things that brought up this conversation, that we were going to have this conversation, is you were talking in the Discord to some people, and you were carrying on about Charlie Kirk being Hellspawn. What was your reaction to his shooting?
I mean, I said it once. I said it a million times. It's tragic. It shouldn't happen, but I don't have any sympathy for the guy.
So do you think he was, when I hear that, there's no sympathy. It's what he was playing with fire. He got what was coming to him in that. It's not that he deserved it, but it's that it's no surprise. It's like walking down.
It's just kind of like a natural consequence of like the political culture and environment that he fostered. You know, like if you walk up to some gangster in the middle of the street and start calling him the N-word, like you're going to get the shit beaten out of you. It's not good that you got the shit beaten out of you. And of course you're not like morally, or you're not like, to blame for that necessarily. It doesn't mean you deserved it, but like, I don't know, what the fuck did you expect to happen?
Okay. So if now this discussion that I was watching yesterday, I was with Destiny, and he was talking about he's going towards, he might be the next one or whatever, considering how high the volume is and all of that. It might be a retaliation to go after someone. So would you have the same response if Destiny were shot at a speaking event? God forbid. If
Destiny were shot at a speaking event? I mean,
in the same way. So they did say Destiny is out in public in a tent or whatever, at a university or wherever he wants to go, or at a meet and greet, something, and we get the same shot visual of this man dying. What would your response be? Would it be, well, he was? Would it be different? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think I would have more sympathy for Destiny or like any other liberal. Well, maybe Destiny's a little bit different because like he pushes like really hard on the rhetoric. So maybe I would feel a little less sympathy for him, but I would still feel more sympathy for him than Charlie Kirk if he got shot.
Because of his ideas, like because he agrees.
Well, more so his rhetoric. Like he is like very provocative. In like a similar sense of whatever Charlie Kirk was. But the difference is Destiny isn't funneling millions of young, naive voters into voting for a dictator. Charlie Kirk was.
Okay, so in this manner, it's like, you're okay to go, violence is not okay, but yeah, he was playing with fire. It he got burnt.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this thing, what was one of the main questions is who created the environment? Who is more responsible? So for you, considering I was saying like tone down something, I don't know what tweet did you have a huge problem with that I made?
Oh yeah, I think you were saying you like highlighted some, maybe it was like a video of like a college student who was like saying, oh, we shot Charlie Kirk or something like that. Yeah. He was like obviously some dipshit fuckhead like college student who was celebrating Kirk's death, which is bad. I think what pissed me off about that, and what other like centrists and even right wingers do, is they try to conflate they try to paint the fringe, like weird left, as the majority, or at least a notable portion. When I think that's like pretty far from reality. The only reason that people like that college student or, these 12 follower accounts on Twitter that, are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk get any coverage is because people like you highlight them.
Okay, so otherwise it would be irrelevant. They're not relevant to the left.
Yeah,
as you see it.
I couldn't name you a single mainstream Democratic pundit, lawmaker, politician, leader that hasn't already condemned the violence.
So do you think that
And
someone
it just sorry, one more thing. And I feel like it kind of plays, or it kind of paints the weakness of your position if you have to appeal to the fringe to paint the majority as that way.
Do you not think that people do that with MAGA Republicans?
No.
Everybody.
I could name you.
Even your treatment of, say, Dorcas, you yourself have admitted that it's like you see this, you have all that MAGA in your head, and then you come across a Republican and you see him as a MAGA Republican suddenly. He must be MAGA.
So one, I'm pretty sure I already apologized to Dorcas, and two, I said, I try to treat the constituents and like the voters, the average, MAGA pundit or Republican, separately from the pundits. I could name you so many pundits and politicians and leadership who made fun of Paul Pelosi and tried to evade political violence or taking accountability for political violence on their own side by trying to paint his attacker as like his secret gay lover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that this is not political violence. This is
I could name like 5 off the top of my head right now.
Okay, 5 of them. So please name them for me because I want to go and
Dinesh D'Souza, Donald Trump Jr., Dave Rubin, President Donald Trump, all spread conspiracies about like Paul's attacker being, like his gay lover, or made fun of him.
Made fun of him for having
made fun of his attack. Like Donald Trump, like attacking Nancy Pelosi, and then asking how's her husband doing, by the way, and then saying Nancy Pelosi wasn't pro-wall, yet she had a wall in her neighborhood that obviously, or around her house, that obviously didn't work. Like
yeah, that's pretty mean.
Yeah
it's not dealing with giving it the weight that it needs.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've noticed with the whole discourse with Charlie Kirk is that pundits that are arguing online, they switch between the officials on the Democratic Party, the leaders and everything, and that they speak about them, but then they don't talk about the actual people on the ground on social media who are also part of the discourse. Like the fact is that I came across that video and it was amplified by both sides, I would expect, because people enjoying it will amplify it, people getting pissed off by it will amplify it. So we see it, and that becomes part of the discourse. Okay, whether you like it or not.
Well, what was
response?
Sorry, no, finish your thing.
And the response to it is, oh well, is what? Well, why aren't you doing this to the right? Why aren't you calling this out on the right instead of, hey, this is not the left? Why have you been saying that? Is that what your response has been to those people celebrating it?
No, I think like it's perfectly fine to call out those people who are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Like obviously that's fine. It's not something you should do. I condemn it, but it's the hyper fixation that something specifically like centrists do. And this is the point I was trying to make on Twitter was centrists love to play both sides. But when when you're comparing like the rhetoric of the president of the United States to some random college student,
Mhm.
it feels pretty ridiculous to both
yeah.
sides that situation.
Oh, to both sides of the situation.
Yeah,
feels
like
well,
the analysis feels kind of hollow.
Okay. But you the way that you perceive the landscape is as if that everybody that is at the top is very reasonable. There is no rhetoric coming from the left. In terms
There's
of
no what?
rhetoric coming from the left.
Rhetoric?
Yeah.
You mean like no fiery rhetoric?
Yeah.
Of course.
There's no we must make these people uncomfortable in their homes, all of that. These people are this, these people are that. Like, so when I talk about both sidesing, I'm like, it seems like both sides are othering the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Am I incorrect in saying this?
Well, so you're making two, I think, false assumptions when you say that.
Okay.
So one is you're assuming that the fact of the matter is equally true on both or either side. So when Donald Trump calls Joe Biden a Marxist or a communist, or when I don't know, someone, if I call Donald Trump a fascist or an authoritarian, the factual realities aren't the same. Donald Trump is a lot closer to a fascist than Kamala or Biden are to a socialist or a communist.
Okay, so it's more accurate, therefore it's not inflammatory.
Yeah, and then the second part of that is, even though the left can be really rhetorically fiery, when push comes to shove, in moments of actual political crises or political violence, they take 2 to 3 steps back and immediately condemn it. Whereas I don't see that whereas when push comes to shove on the right, it's not the same. There's like evasion or complete apologia or trying to shift blame. Like how many like MAGA Republicans still come out and say that Minnesota shooting back in like May or June was done by a Democrat, when it was an evangelical registered Republican pro-life guy, but just because he was appointed by Tim Walz to like a bipartisan or like nonpartisan like government board back in 2019 means he's secretly working for Tim Walz.
So there's this conspiracy covering up thing that helps.
And they did the same thing with Paul Pelosi.
Okay.
But it wasn't a politically motivated attack. It was his secret gay lover.
Okay. So so you're sitting basically where you're sitting, Charlie Kirk. This whole thing. What does that make you feel about the political environment in America? Does it make just let me ask you that.
It makes me pretty clearly realize that there's only one side that's interested in diplomacy in this country, and it's not the side whose leader just said that he couldn't care less about bringing the country together. I don't know if you knew that, but Donald Trump went on Fox News, and when asked directly, point blank period, what should we do about uniting the country right now and bringing down the temperature, he said, honestly, I couldn't care less about bringing the country together.
That does not help.
Help. And then after Donald Trump's first assassination attempt last year, Joe Biden went on publicly stated in his official statement on the matter, said, we need to turn down the temperature on all sides. We need to remember, we as Americans, we're not enemies, we are neighbors. That was like I said, when push comes to shove, even though Joe Biden has said Donald Trump is a threat to democracy a million times, when push comes to shove, in moments of actual political violence or political crises, the left consistently is willing to turn down the temperature, and the right never is.
do you not see that as a, oh well, it's nice and easy to just to say yes, let's unite once the political violence happens. You go, ooh, that's really bad, but beforehand you are taking part in inflammatory sort of characterization of the opponent, as a threat to democracy, threat to our way of life, all of that stuff. That's okay.
Well, again, the factual realities aren't the same on
Okay,
both
so
sides,
yeah, it's
right?
because it's true to you. It's
Right.
that
Well, not
makes it good, makes it okay.
not
No,
to
I'm
me.
saying true to you.
It is true.
No,
But
it's true to you because
sure,
it's not true to others.
sure, it's not true to others, but when you measure, like when you actually get into the facts of the matter on any of these subjects, right? Like eventually you're going to have to come to some conclusion.
Yeah, people have come to different conclusions than you. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's
and how do we treat those people?
like it depends. The pundits I'm a lot more critical of than the constituents.
Yeah.
Like God bless my mom, love her to death. She doesn't know anything about politics. She's like a ride or die Republican. She loves
she's ride or
MAGA.
die. Yeah, she doesn't know about it, but she's just like, this is okay.
Yeah, like she thinks like the 2020 election was stolen because she was told by Donald Trump and all of his, crony like pundits and henchmen that it was stolen.
And that's true to her.
That's true to her, yeah. It's not true to Donald Trump or any of the pundits that push it.
Yeah, because it works.
And if it is true to them, then you need to never talk about politics again.
Okay. So when it comes to the shooting itself, the thing now, one of the questions I'm asking, and everybody asks now that it's been a few days, what now? What happens? So I know that what Destiny wants is for the right wing to shut up, keep quiet, or tone down the rhetoric now.
There needs to be, I would say the left needs to do a better job at bullying the right.
Okay.
I think we need to match energy levels a little bit more, because obviously being completely diplomatic doesn't do us any favors. I still think you should condemn the violence. I don't necessarily know if I agree with Destiny that, you should wait for the president to condemn the violence and then condemn it after the fact. I think you should condemn it when it happens, but also acknowledge, hey, you guys are the ones who are consistently turning up the temperature, and we are going to push harder and harder until you agree to back down, basically.
So we're going to push harder and harder. How?
I kind of like what Gavin Newsom is doing at the moment. He's on his like whatever like memification, kind of like bully the right, kind of match energy with Donald Trump sort of thing right now. I think we need like a solid set of leadership that can kind of dictate the rhetoric on the left in the way that Donald Trump dictates it on the right. Yeah.
So if you had
not as dogmatically, but like there still needs to be, I think, a bit more coherency and messaging on the left.
So more unity on the left, actually. That you can actually navigate it, that there's not this splintering of, okay, there's kind of the official guys and then there's the people online and all of that. You want a leader that can say,
yeah, well, I mean, like we need like I've been like kind of coordinating with I don't know if you know who Z Cohen Sanchez is, and like the Unfuck America tour are, but like I've been coordinating with a lot of people in that, and I'm supposed to like interview her in a few days. Like kind of building infrastructure on the left to hopefully have a stronger, like core coalition of voters, or not voters, but like pundits who are ready to get the message out the second the rubber hits the road.
Okay, and that message, is it part of that strategy? Do you think, or because you're more in you're involved in it? Is it part of that strategy to tone down rhetoric on that side, to de-radicalize the radical left, taking what's the name, taking responsibility for the radical elements that are in the left?
No, I think the left does like a plenty good job at, I think, taking accountability for the radicals on their side.
How?
I just finished this. I know this is totally anecdotal, but I just finished watching a segment on CNN where they were talking about Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled because he was kind of spreading like misinformation about the the motives of Charlie Kirk's shooter.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it like, hey, yeah, like I think what Jimmy Kimmel here is saying is abhorrent and incorrect. I don't think it's factually accurate. I think what he's saying here is false. But like we still respect his First Amendment right to speech. I don't know if I know like a single like pundit who hasn't condemned the violence or who hasn't like called out people celebrating it.
On the mainstream, I haven't been watching mainstream news. On the mainstream reporting, has there been the mainstream reporting that went, like people really lost their minds on the actual day? I was watching it with Wick, and we were like, okay, when people shared these clips about people reporting about Charlie Kirk, we were like, cool, let's watch it and see if this person's tweet is accurate. And sometimes people were just saying that, yeah, the Charlie Kirk is divisive. That's a fact. So it's not immediately saying he's divisive, he deserved it. It's, oh, he's a divisive figure. Okay, and I don't think that that's factually inaccurate. So they should be able to say that. But then talking about celebrators, people celebrating by shooting in the crowd and that sort of thing, it's a bit of cope, in my opinion. But basically, where I was going with that is, has there been in the mainstream media? I understand you are upset about people giving voice to those people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, but don't you think, or has there been reporting on those celebratory people and the people disrupting vigils and things like that, and mainstream media reporting and saying this is also despicable?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you account the Jimmy Kimmel thing, but like Jimmy Kimmel was making some jokes about it, and a lot of people were like just critical of him on CNN. I saw, obviously, Destiny was calling out, or was like saying, you shouldn't celebrate his death, yada yada yada. There was I think I saw Hutch saying you shouldn't celebrate his death.
Yeah, so no,
I think Mehdi Hassan also said that.
But those aren't mainstream.
Mehdi Hassan is mainstream. He's on
wasn't
he like an anchor on MSNBC?
No, sorry. I thought you were talking about Hassan Parker. But now...
Oh, no, Mehdi Hassan, yeah.
Okay, so those people... But you did mention Destiny as well. I know he was on Piers Morgan, but that's also still not exactly mainstream.
I mean, he's been on like CNN. He just appeared on Fox News, right? I guess it depends on how... Like, when you say mainstream, do you mean like establishment media?
Yeah, establishment media. Did we have the little lady that speaks in the news voice saying, people are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and it is turning up the volume? Something like that. Did we get that?
I don't, other than the Jimmy Kimmel thing, I mean, I'm sure maybe if I went and dug, I could probably find one.
I should hope that's something that should be... Look, I think an argument can be made that it would just infuriate people more, but it would at least so say if you got CNN or whatever, Fox would probably play it and go, look at these people, they're horrible, they're absolutely horrible, and they want you dead and whatever, that whole thing. Okay, I can go that way.
But so when you say that, I feel like you're implying that there's a stronger need for the left to call out their own
Yeah.
than there is for the right.
I think both.
Like,
I think both.
like if CNN doesn't cover it, like it's like they probably should. They should at least mention it. But like if they don't, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's a much bigger problem when the right doesn't call out political
Of course you would.
divisiveness
Of course
on
you
their own
would.
side.
Yes, and of course I would think that the left is more of a problem. I think the left is more of a problem, has more fiery rhetoric than the right. I think if we're looking at levels, if we're talking about if we gave it a Boolean, if we said is it true or false that these political sides don't call out or need to call out their sides, it's true for both. Okay, very centrist. But I do feel, because I spend time looking at the left a lot more. I suppose you spend time looking at the far right.
Listen, I spend a lot of time watching like the left and shit. Okay, I hate communists and socialists. All right, I'm a huge anti-SJW. Fuck those guys. But but like what are some examples of the left being more rhetorically fiery than the right?
Okay, just hold on. I'm getting really a lot of gifted memberships here. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Lucy Lemonbug.
It's just because I'm so popular.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And JMac, Mac Attack. It's 20. Geez, guys, my alerts are not working, so I don't know. Let's do an alert here. What do we have? Yeah.
Do not redeem! Do not redeem the card!
There you go. You get that. I've got a clip for you guys. Shut up, bitch! Keep the comms clear. There you go. I just want to get back to the conversation though. So Corbin's handsome and looks are paying off. Zerofax, I commend your patience and decency. You are a great person, Kitty. Oh, thank you, Zerofax. We'll go back to if there's super chats later. I don't want to interrupt further. Corbin's handsome, good looks are paying off. Okay, cool, guys. We caught up. I see green. There's lots of green. So you were saying there's no examples. You're saying, you were asking me if there's examples of the left being more inflammatory than the right.
Mm-hmm. Well, so two things: more inflammatory than the right, and then not as factually backed up as the right.
Okay, yeah, because the facts make it okay for you, because it's like I'm just calling out what is real.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes we have to call a spade a spade, and then I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's my fault. If you walk up to, I don't know if it's my fault if I call Jeffrey Dahmer a murderer, right? Like it's his fault for being a murderer. I'm just pointing it out.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's the same. That's the thing. You're Donald Trump absolutely is a fascist. So it's not inflammatory to do that. Calling someone a Nazi is not inflammatory because they are.
Well, I mean, like you could
also,
say it's but like it depends on how we're defining inflammatory at that point.
Inflammatory, yeah, is highly othering. Okay, making somebody not just in a disagreement with you, okay, is turning them into somebody that is worthy of scorn and violence. Like when somebody is calling somebody a Nazi, that's okay, except for grammar Nazi, we are allowed to use the word grammar Nazi. But when people are calling each other Nazis and things like that, don't you think that's part of rhetoric that leads to, oh, I can shoot whoever? Do you think Charlie Kirk is a Nazi?
No.
Okay. But you think of him as Hellspawn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, calling him Hellspawn, what does that do?
It means he should be criticized and ostracized. But the second it gets to political violence, I think it's unjustified.
Okay, so the second it gets to political violence, so we can ratchet up, but everybody's got to just keep it contained. So we can hate each other all the way. We can just get all the way to the top. But when it comes to actually taking action on that hate, that's when it's wrong. But otherwise, everything else is on the table. We should call each other shit.
But so I don't know how the government necessarily works in Dubai, but America is a democracy, right? If someone has really bad ideas, ideally we should be able to deal with them in a way that doesn't merit jumping immediately to violence, right? Like if we
Okay.
have a president that we don't like, that we think is authoritarian, well, we just impeach him, or we
Yes.
vote him out, right?
But yeah, okay, yeah, we vote him out. But do we have to call him hellspawn? Do we have to call him, do? And I know we're talking about it's pretty funny because I'm saying, calling me this and calling me that, and that should be, it's just words. Words can't harm me. That's how it should be. But it contributes to a whole discourse and a whole environment in which somebody can justifiably, and there are people that have this little screw loose that they actually can't hate people without taking action. They can go completely over the moral line and go, I can kill this person, that their value of life doesn't matter.
Okay,
Now-
but that only happens because they behave in a way that merits calling them a fascist or an authoritarian.
Okay, so it's just a, when it comes to this now alleged shooter, okay, how do you explain their actions? What is it? They're just crazy and that's it.
Yeah, it was probably like a crazy, probably far left, like weirdo incel loser.
What is far left to you?
Like he was probably pretty. I don't know if we 100% know his motives, but I would say like far left would be like socialist, communist.
Mm-hmm. So like socialist, communist, yeah, we want to go all the way to that.
Yeah.
We're not here
Yeah.
for democracy. We're like,
Well-
no, let's go. Going to actually another kind of authoritarianism where it's like we need control in that way. We need to go all the way to communism.
Yeah, like that's the left wing fascism, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you agree with that, and you're not troubled with that part of the left because to you.
No, I mean, of course, I'm troubled with it. But
No,
the
but
issue
you're not as
is
troubled. Yeah, but you am I correct in saying that you're not as troubled by that as you are by the extreme people on the right?
yeah, because it's like socialists and communists aren't the core of the democratic movement. Like authoritarians and borderline like fascist, weirdo, isolationist, protectionist, like ultranationalist types. That's the core of the Republican movement. Like that's their leadership
Ultra-nationalist.
and a good
So
chunk
that's
of their
quite
base as well.
What are you using the word? What's the difference between nationalist and ultra-nationalist?
I mean, like it's fine. Like it's fine to be like nationalistic. Like patriotism is probably a good thing to some degree. But it's like when it becomes like almost like religiously. It almost becomes like a religion, the way that you treat the state or the nation.
Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of zeal. People have a lot of zeal. Okay. So if you were president, what would you be saying?
If I was
Donald
president,
Trump. No, actually, if
well,
you were
first
Donald
and
Trump.
foremost,
So in his position here, you've got all the things, you've gotten into power the way you've gotten into power. How do you dial it back?
well, because I have a moral conscience, I immediately call for myself to be impeached and then to be in prison for the rest of my life.
And
then,
so you stand down.
No, if all things the same, obviously the first thing has to be calls for diplomacy on both sides and a call for a lowering of temperature.
Yeah.
The rhetoric doesn't go down until the rhetoric has to come down.
I don't like condemning the violence from like people. Everybody does need to condemn the violence, but I do think that Trump hasn't done enough to reach across the aisle. I do agree with that. Because
Do you think he hasn't done
he's just-
enough, or do you think he hasn't done anything?
He hasn't done enough, because condemning the violence is part of extending the part of going, okay, let's calm down. But saying, but doubling down on this is the enemy and all of that stuff, that's ratcheting it up. I'm in
Okay.
agreement with that. And then it would behoove the American public to show him disdain for that, so that he knows, okay, I can't do that. So that he knows that he can't. That's not acceptable. But yes, on the right, people are not doing that. They are very fed up. What do you think of them? That they've justified. Sorry, Diana, I will get to your super chat. They've justified their switch, okay? Because they're like, you know what? The gloves are off now, because you have gone past that rhetoric, and you've now gone into shooting one of the people, and it's not even an
the issue
official...
is the left hasn't gone past that rhetoric. That
They-
guy who shot who shot Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk, I don't think he was operating based on like, you know, like Joe Biden calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy. I think maybe he was doing it just because Donald Trump was a threat to democracy.
was a threat, because he was a threat to democracy.
Or he was operating because Donald Trump is a threat to democracy.
Okay, so it just
Yeah.
so yes, exactly. This is the
Clarifying
main
one,
thing,
yeah.
is that people are like, he's not a threat to democracy. You've convinced people that he is, that this is
Mhm.
life and death. Therefore, killing somebody else is absolutely fine. It's saving the world. It's saving the country.
Yeah, but obviously that's fucking retarded in a society where we can vote to take people out of office, or we can impeach them.
I'm glad we agree on that. That is insane. Kirk has said some really... So bye, Diana. Thank you very much for the $50 super chat. Kirk has said some really heinous things, saying gender affirming care should be taken away from everyone.
Yeah.
I have no problem calling him evil, because he opposes who I am as a human. Also, the right does more political violence. That has
True.
to answer. Okay.
Did you know that
has
Kirk
has it-
called for Joe Biden to get the death penalty?
the death penalty? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, here we go.
Charlie
Jane
Kirk
Mack.
said that.
I was actually surprised to see Charlie Kirk be so civil and understanding to LGBT people in several interactions, even going so far as to argue against Groyper type when the Groyper was advocating removing LGBT from conservative movements. Food for thought. So there is that, yeah. His belief is that he wants to treat gender dysphoria to the point where you feel comfortable in your body. He seems to have that belief that you could do that transitioning itself is not the treatment. But I don't believe that he has hate or had hate for transgendered individuals.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
all of
people-
my critiques about Charlie Kirk were, I think he was a moderate at heart. Part of the wasted potential of him was he was very politically intelligent. I think he could have been a really solid, you know, strong, moderate, conservative voice in that movement. But unfortunately, he hitched his wagon to a political party that completely and utterly demands dogmatic, you know, marching orders, or else you're just completely blown the fuck out. I think like a good example of this was his coverage of the Epstein files. He was initially really critical of Trump for not releasing them, but I think like a week later, he came out and like took back all of his statements on it, because he was, I guess, like basically harangued by the White House into, you know, like going along with their messaging.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing.
Yeah, to being a mouthpiece is what you're. He's like he's
Yeah.
working for that.
Yeah. And that's why I call him a hellspawn, because he was smart enough to know otherwise.
Okay, so
He wasn't
because he's
politically
covering-
stupid. Yeah.
Because he's covering for something
Yeah.
for
Well,
essentially
he's not-
what you consider a pedophile. Yeah.
But he's not just like covering for a pedophile or covering for an authoritarian. He's directly like he probably was one of the worst, probably like one of the most damaging political pundits like in U.S. history. Just the number of young, naive voters that he exploited and took advantage of and funneled into voting for a full-fledged authoritarian. Yeah, it's pretty ghoulish.
What is exploitative of Charlie's what he was doing? How is he
Like-
exploiting them?
Like, I don't know if he ever had a discussion or debate with a well-rounded political pundit. He, like owned and destroyed young, like unprepared college students in debates. Like that was his whole shtick.
Do you not see that there's also conversations he had with people that even agree with him, and things like that that are on his side, and he would still have good conversations. It wasn't just destroys kind of thing. It wasn't like
I mean, like he could have like discussions with, like I saw plenty of videos where he was being nice to these young students, but that's part of the exploitation or manipulation, right? It's
Okay,
wow,
so-
conservatives are so nice and kind, and they actually have kind of reasonable ideas, right?
but
So
they're not they
yeah,
don't
'cause
really
they don't politically know otherwise, right?
Okay, so they're easily manipulated.
Yeah. If
And-
you're like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid and you're on college or you're in college and you see this like, big MAGA guy that you have seen like, whatever political, like compilation videos of him debating people, right? You come up and you're expecting to get blown the fuck out. Now, actually, he's like kind of a nice person, right?
Oh God, I'm getting too
You
many
know,
big super
But
chats.
what's that?
Yeah.
What's that saying? Sheep in wolf's clothing, or wolf in
Okay.
sheep's clothing.
Yeah. So like what do you think of his Christianity? Do you think that's also
What about
is it a veneer? Is it something that he uses to exploit people, make them disarm them?
Yeah, of
Oh, he's a
course.
Christian. He cares. Okay. And do you think that this kind of thing? What do you think of colleges in general? Do you agree? Do you think that there is anything to the idea that colleges do seem to ideologically capture college students?
Yeah,
Make
of course,
them-
yeah.
I mean, the fact is, like,
Yeah, again, I'm not like a socialist, like far left weirdo, right? Like
Mhm.
obviously there are issues on college campuses and academia and shit.
yeah.
Obviously, but the solution isn't to turn them all MAGA.
Okay, so you just spoke about him being Kirk being moderate
I
But
said he
then
was a
you're
moderate at heart,
at heart. So he's
Yeah.
playing with the MAGA, but
but he has to run coverage for
mhm.
the
and I mean there
an
were MAGA
apologia
hats at
and
his,
defend, and he did have some legitimately like extreme beliefs, but the ones that he didn't have, like he had to run cover for Trump's admin in a way that was so unbelievably harmful to the United States.
Okay, so let me just hold on here. Just let me write that down. Harmful. Okay. I wonder how many lefties called for Trump to have the death penalty. Oh, but when the left does it, it's okay because it's the right side of history. Both sides have been mean. Stop comparing. I actually want to use that as a jumping board there. Okay, Sammy. Thanks, Sammy G. For the $10. I'll get to JMac with the $100 fucking dollars. Okay. With that, these both, so we can agree both sides, we disagree on who's got more fire on each side, on which side. What do we do?
Hold that
this-
thought. I need to go. I've drank a lot of water. I need to run
Okay,
the bathroom.
go
real
in.
quick.
Yeah, you did. his bladder. We watched his bladder fill up. So let me just read the super chat here. Many have a misunderstanding a lot of Christian positions. A Christian may be against your lifestyle and believe living a certain way is spiritually and morally better for you. Many treat sin as separate from the individual, hate the sin, not the sinner, and all that. Yeah, I like when it comes to, I can't actually speak about it. But yeah, hate the sin, not the sinner. I think that's, even if you disagree with that, you can at least disagree with a Christian, you can at least know that if they're principled, if they are a true Christian, they're not going to come after you and kill you for your lifestyle. They will hate your sin, absolutely, and they will not support it and whatever, but they're not going to come and kill you. Obviously, we've had Christians that want to, they really do want to infringe on rights and things like that. They think that they can socially engineer these things and make these sins go away. And let's be clear, I'm not considering them sins, but that is how they see it, and they're trying to infringe on otherwise liberal, otherwise rights. So yeah, many should treat the sin as separate from the individual. But we know that Christians are not a monolith. You have very crazy zealot Christians that will take that and corrupt it and be like, you're a sinner, therefore God will strike you down. They go very Old Testament on people. They just forget Jesus. They're just like, nah, it's not. Oh, remember for 5 months, woo, Zaxi, we're almost there. Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the DP for his crimes against America. Zax, you little troll. Stop it, you. So hold up. Let's go. Are we done? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. So with this, first of all, I highlighted with Sammy's thing there where she said stop comparing. Do you think this comparison is us going back and forth? No, but you did this, but you did this, but you did this about our sides. Do you think that's helpful for America? Or do you think, do you think that's helpful for America?
Yeah, I think it's good to correct behavior that I think is bad for the discourse. Yeah, of course. Okay, so both, it's just correcting discourse. So both of us are correcting each other. Mm-hmm. So to get to the truth, which Well, I'm correcting you. You're trying to correct me, but you're not. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So to get to the truth of that you've declared that the left is really, really not that inflammatory. The right is the one that's. Well, I never said the left was wasn't inflammatory. It's just you're saying yes. It's not as right. We're going. We have the left and the right, and we're asking who is more inflammatory. That comparison, and I say left, you say right. Cool. Yeah, and I'm happy. I'm excited to see why. Okay, so I don't understand. Literally, in my experience, it is okay, and in what I've seen, just going for it's undeniable to me. But I can see how you can be in a different camp. You've seen enough. Dragon Master, $5. I've seen enough. Shout out to you, Kitty. Keep up the good work. Adios. Thank you very much, Dragon Master. Okay, so what I'm saying is this comparison, this back and forth. You're saying you're just trying to correct because once you own me and you own Sitch and Adam and you own everybody and you tell them that the right is the problem and they believe it, that will be good for America. But the point is, of course, like I said, you gotta get the people in the center to, realize what they're saying is retarded. Okay, so for me, and I would want you obviously to respond what you think about this. For me, it's the continuing, because everybody is so polarized, continuing to do this comparison actually goes nowhere, because people on the left are going to say we are right, we are correct,
and people on the right are going to say we are correct. And we're going to continue as we've been doing for the past. And I say we, I'm not American, but we, because we're part of the discourse.
Okay, well, let's get into the facts of the matter then. At that
No. I'm saying this is how it is. Okay, this is the environment that is happening. You know that there are people that believe as they believe, and I know that there are people that as they believe. How do we come together? Is it okay for us to come together and say, you know what, we both did wrong?
Well, the issue is the right won't come together. Their leader said they're not interested in unity when every single left-winger has already come out in spades and have across the board condemned the violence. It does not matter. The right continues to turn the temperature up. You have people like the Quartering saying they want blood. You have people like Andrew Wilson or Matt Walsh or Ben Shapiro saying like we're on the fucking brink of civil war and that the left won't own up to this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
diplomacy.
The left.
Mm-hmm. Diplomacy is a two-way street in a country that has a two-party system.
Yes. Okay. So it's like you first. Is that what you're saying? It's you first. You do it first.
Yeah, but the issue is the right isn't interested in diplomacy or turning the temperature down. They only ever want to escalate.
The official right.
The left are the only ones coming to the table and saying, "Hey, we should turn the temperature down across the board." The right isn't interested in it.
Right at all. No one right wing at all. Nobody is saying, okay.
I don't know if I can name a single major pundit that's come out and said we need to turn down the temperature on both sides, and we need to acknowledge that there's problems on the left and the right. It's only the left is evil, the left is bad, the left caused all of this. There's no self-reflection. The right is incapable of self-reflection.
Okay, it's incapable. It's not able. Do you not think that the people that you're now characterizing as centrist and whatever, those people that even people like me that did come and say, I think we should tone it down. The people that said that they got from the left, from you, they got problems. They got criticisms as if that it's not good. Instead of endorsement, you got criticism instead of endorsement, because it's for what I'm hoping is sanity is contagious. So as soon as you see one person say, hey, like literally online, one person say, hey, this is pretty insane, let's calm it down, you retweet and you say, I agree, instead of don't take this person seriously.
The issue is the right doesn't care.
Oh, okay. Joe
Biden, like his first public appearance after Trump's first attempted assassination was, hey, we need to turn the temperature down on both sides. Every single every single Democratic lawmaker, politician, leader, pundit across the board has condemned the violence and said, hey, we need to turn the temperature down. Fuck anyone who endorses political violence. That's not how we live in a democracy, and the right doesn't care.
Okay. The right doesn't care.
No.
What about, do you care? And now, one of the things I noticed with Destiny, and I'm bringing it back to you, I've mentioned it a bit previously, was this thing of, oh, well, the Democrats are not doing bad things, but they're still not taking responsibility for his own voice online, his own clout, not taking responsibility for also not reaching across the aisle. Hassan as well, those kinds of things. And I understand you would probably call them extreme left, but... Well,
I mean, yeah, like 90%, like how many people have been fighting with Destiny on like his rhetoric right now?
What do you think of Anna Kasparian?
She's a dipshit.
The way that Sorry?
She's a dipshit.
Oh, why?
She does the centrist shit too now, and it's kind of annoying.
Don't you think centrists are where we should be
also
going?
She does like 9/11 might have been an inside job shit now. Like she's like hardcore on the conspiratorial shit.
Okay, like a lefty Candace Owens?
Yeah, kinda. Probably not as bad as Candace Owens, but like,
Candace is a frothy girl.
yeah, Candace is one of the worst of them.
Yes, I would agree. But now, wouldn't you want to support that centrist? That should be a thing,
Anna
that you
Kasparian?
support that
No.
No, what I'm saying is centrism. You're othering centrists. You said you were trying. One of the things that you want is to get the center and independents on your side, but you're calling them dipshits.
The voters, not the pundits.
No,
I'm not as interested in the
pundits.
The pundits
are
do the
giving
both
voice.
sides shit, and it normalizes the right way more than it should.
Okay.
We can't treat stepping in dog shit and getting stabbed as two like equally bad. Well, like I stepped in dog shit, but I also got stabbed. So it's kind of even balanced for me, right? Like the pain is about the same.
Okay. So yeah, it's the same to you, exactly. When a centrist is just as bad as the right to you, just the far right.
Deserving of be worse.
As deserving of scorn.
A centrist or like a moderate might be worse. Worse?
Oh, yeah. Because they caught the other
side. Because they know better.
They think what? They know better. Oh, so you because
they
know both sides.
I called Sitch a grifter and audience captured on Twitter because he did the same thing.
Do you really believe Sitch is a grifter, or were you trying to? I think he's probably pretty
audience captured.
Can I tell you what I think? I think you were trying to make him angry so he could speak to you.
That was not the intention. I wasn't expecting him to reply.
But you wanted him to see it though. You wanted him to.
That's a bonus.
What would have been the best reply he could give you? You know what? You're right, Corbin. Is that what you wanted?
I mean, like ideally, yeah, but like in a practical world, I think I got about the best response that I could.
Yeah.
Which highlighted like how retarded he is.
Okay, so you're disillusioned by Sitch because he did the centrist thing.
Yeah, I hate Sitch so I used to watch those guys like all the fucking time. And then to see him, like come out and be like, oh, like the extremism on the right, it's not as apparent as extremism on the left, or like extremism in the mainstream right isn't, as apparent or accepted as on the mainstream left. Fuck him.
Okay, so you've thrown him out. You're not going to extend, like you've said. It's interesting. Wow, says Sitch and Adam Show, who's just become a member. Welcome.
Wow.
Corbin has made Sitch and Adam a member.
Oh
Sitch and Adam Show a member of my channel.
You're like I said, I'm popular. What can I say?
You really? Okay. Well, look, I'm understanding where you're coming from. In terms of, I can see how your mind is working. That's what I mean. I don't agree with you, but I can see how your mind is working, what buttons have been pressed for you. It sucks that you think of centrists that way, because I would expect them, I would say, you're
a little bit different. Like you're like Canadian or whatever. So you're like not as involved with politics. Also, this isn't like your full-time job.
Yeah.
So I don't like I wouldn't harangue you as much as I would maybe like a Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah. Well, because they're bigger fish and they're more of a problem.
You have more of an obligation or more of a responsibility to be accurate with your messaging at that point.
When you have an audience.
Yeah. When you have the platform that those people do have. Yeah.
In which case, I don't want to bring it back to Destiny. I'm actually kind of sick of Destiny right now. When it comes to this word harmful, you said he was very. You said Charlie Kirk was very harmful for America. Is it just the harmful because increased MAGA following is harmful? Easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I think,
Mhm.
like I said, I think he was a moderate at heart. The reason I call him Hellspawn is because he knew better, and he should have known
Okay.
better. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he knew better, but he ignored the facts.
Yeah, of course.
He actually ignored it and chose the wrong side. Chose the wrong
Yeah.
side of history, blah blah blah, all of that. Knowingly.
Knowingly, yeah.
But guys, you heard it here. Corbin did condemn the violence, which I find commendable. Okay,
I mean, it's like the bare minimum shit. I don't know if it's commendable. Like everyone else is doing it.
No, everyone else is doing it, should be doing it, because it should be a universal idea that we don't do that. We don't do that. That's not a thing. We're America. We're
No,
supposed
but
to
like
be
I mean,
better
like
than
the fact you just said like it's commendable means that you think it's like a problem that's even like remotely notable on the left.
Yeah, no. Yes. Well, not because of the left, but because of how I've seen you interact with people. That's actually it. Because I'm primed by your aggression on Twitter and things like that. I'm primed to see you as somebody who's going to go into lean into, like, somebody, when I say aggression, like saying hellspawn, calling somebody hellspawn and whatever, that sort of stuff, like that makes me think, oh, okay, he's going to have these opinions, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten to kind of like the meat and potatoes of the conversation yet. I think like we haven't gone into why you think the left is worse than the right rhetorically or in terms of messaging or whatever.
Because of the literal othering, that somebody, for example, we just spoke about the Christianity, right? Charlie Kirk had the idea of, or was, yes, against transgenderism, as he doesn't want that to be a thing in society. Doesn't hate trans people, doesn't hate them, but we can't even listen to him without it being completely characterized as it's hate. There's an extremism. It's always, we cannot listen, we cannot speak, we must isolate any kind of discourse that is not our own. And I've experienced that. I've seen it online. And online matters. That's the thing. It's very easy to just go, oh, well, you know, well, this person over here said this. No, the people that are interacting with the pundits, those people actually, they exist and they're relevant, and then it goes and permeates into real life. So what do you think of that kind of extremism of when somebody just disagrees a little bit, they're far right.
Mm-hmm. When someone disagrees like a little bit,
yeah,
I don't know if
a little bit.
I don't know if most of the left is like in the habit of condemning you just for disagreeing a little bit.
Yes, it is. Okay, what's
an example?
When Anna Kasparian came along, disagreeing with things, it was like the end of the world. She is the worst person in the world. She's just as you have felt. She's like basically a dipshit or a traitor or something, because she even entertained speaking to somebody who disagrees with her. That's the thing as well. This idea that you cannot even be on the same stream without being criticized. That's isolation. And that is what
disagree about what, for what reason? What's an example of I don't know, like mainstream children, like Democratic left condemning Anna Kasparian for
transitioning kids, okay? Transitioning kids, by making that that legal, okay? If anyone went against that, so trans people,
Anna Kasparian specifically,
actual trans people like Buck Angel, okay, those people that go and say, I don't want that, they're now called far right.
Well, so like, what about Anna Kasparian specifically?
I don't know which one it was with Anna Kasparian, but I'm talking
Well,
about.
I remember
it
the
being,
birthing person's one.
okay, there's one.
Yeah, like she was harangued by the left, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. But it wasn't like the Democratic, like liberal center left crowd, which is the majority of the
Okay, so it's
Democratic
fine.
Party.
It
It's
doesn't
like
have an
no, I
effect.
didn't say. Hold on, I didn't say it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just the point is it's like a weird like niche fringe part of the party. Like how much of the Democratic base do you think cares if Anna Kasparian doesn't want to be called birthing person?
So, do you think that the people that are online themselves, just at all, are part of the extremes? So there's no such thing as an actual moderate, or an actual normal right leaning person, or a left leaning person. So what I'm saying is, online, you're saying, oh, the actual Democrats, the Democratic Party, they don't care about Anna Kasparian. They don't do that. But do you not think that these people have an influence, a political influence at all?
The far left?
No, people like Anna Kasparian, like the Young Turks, all of them. Do you think they have no sway? So they
no, I mean, of course they have influence. What's the point in you asking me that?
The point of asking you that is, does it matter what they say?
Does it matter what Anna
how they're
says?
treated?
Yeah, of course.
Do they? Yeah, they
course.
actually arguably are more in touch with people than government officials and politicians who are interacting through publicists and things like that.
Okay, well, who's like a mainstream like alternative media Democrat liberal that called out? Like, I don't know if I see David Pacman, or like Tyler Brian Cohen or Luke Beasley calling out Anna Kasparian for not wanting to be called a birthing person.
Okay, so it's just the response of pundits that you care about. It's not the response of the actual people.
No, so like maybe a pundit that represents the broader Democratic Party. Maybe if a lot of those people were like attacking Anna Kasparian viciously, I could
then you would
be like, oh, okay, maybe like the left is having issues with, attacking their own for small problems. But like from what I remember, it was like Vosh, Hassan, like the Majority Report, like all of these people were attacking Anna over that.
Yeah. So
like
Majority Report, those people, those are not small things online.
Yeah, but like they represent a portion of the Democratic Party that is a very small minority. That's like maybe 10% of the party that hold like no political power.
No political power. Okay, but then that would
what's like a single like socialist that's in the House or Senate? But even Bernie Sanders and AOC was just Bernie Sanders was just fucking harangued by the far left online for not calling like Israel Palestine a genocide. AOC was just attacked for something related to like in a bill. I think she may have like supported a bill that was kind of like anti-Iranian, and she got lambasted by the far left online for that.
Okay, so
like even the further left people like Bernie and AOC have to look moderate compared to those guys.
Mm-hmm. So they're the real power and they're the real influence. That's actually okay. So it's helped me to rephrase my question to you. Do you think that the people that are interacting online politically, are they just by nature more extreme than the actual people on the ground that are just vibes voting and things like that?
People who are online are more extreme, not necessarily. Are you talking about the pundits or like the viewers?
No, viewers are very important. The pundits, because the pundits but they're saying things, but their viewers are
not necessarily. But if you are like terminally online, there's a higher correlation of like extremism in your beliefs. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially
I
because
would say so.
online skews very young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, unless it's Facebook. All right. Yeah, just the way that I see it is I've seen the responses, and maybe it's been just too online. Maybe, I mean, I'm not there on the ground in America. But the way that I've experienced it, that's how it seems. The discourse itself, it's been very much purity, where you can't be far left enough. You're not good enough. If you at any point entertain anything from the other side, or if you don't go all the way to the extreme left, you are far right. That's my experience of it.
So can you name me a single example of we can screw mainstream media. Can you name me a single example of a left-wing pundit that represents maybe the broader Democratic Party that's like alternative media?
You see that
That-
this thing that you're going represents the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
That's the
that
thing
like represents the majority of the base.
That's the out.
Sorry?
That's the out. That's the out. That's the oh wait. But why is the majority, why is the do the Democrats really go and say these people on the far left, they are insane?
Yeah,
do they really?
I think Bernie Sanders came out and like had to like condemn like a bunch of his like followers online because like they were too heated.
Okay, a bunch of his followers. Okay, cool, nice, yeah. Bernie. Okay, what about like what do you think of Destiny? Like Destiny has a huge following and Hassan has a huge following. What are those people? Are those people not even a thing to you?
No,
like
I
think that's my biggest gripe.
Destiny's messaging is a lot. Destiny's messaging is a lot better than Hassan's, but Hassan, again, he's a big figure, but he represents a portion of the Democratic base that holds no political power. And then like 90%, like every single like Democrat that I know that's like even familiar with Destiny has been calling him out recently. Like a bunch of people in his own community too.
I should hope so. But those
yeah, like he's been fighting like with an old associate. Do you know who Hutch is?
No.
He's like another big like he's like another big like liberal Twitch streamer. I think he's got like almost like 1 million subs on YouTube. He's been fighting with Destiny a bunch. Counterpoints has been fighting with Destiny a bunch, and he's in Destiny's immediate vicinity. Not so erudite. She was like his co-host or whatever. Like Destiny and Hassan's. Destiny's better than Hassan, but even Destiny's like approach to rhetoric right now, a lot of people disagree with on the left.
Good. I'm glad.
So he doesn't. But like you keep bringing up examples that don't broadly represent like the base of the Democratic Party.
I think that does point to this thing that you were speaking about earlier, that you were like, there is no Charlie Kirk of the left or something like that. There is no, I really don't think there is what I would call a reasonable left pundit that has a huge audience, that has, and I say huge as in influential, getting onto Piers Morgan, that sort of stuff. We don't have that for a normal liberal, and this is the only representation. This is the only representation that you get. You get the fiery Destiny, the Hassans, all of those. You get those, and they become the representation of the left.
I see people like Dean Withers or Luke Beasley or Tyler Brian Cohen or like
did you see
Tim Miller from the Bullwick?
What happened to Dean Withers when he expressed sorrow for Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, he got attacked by the fringe far left.
Okay,
all the like weird wokey losers. Yeah, like all the weird wokey losers in his audience.
Okay, yeah. but mostly
there wasn't any like standard Democratic like center left liberal guy that came out and was like, hey, you shouldn't feel bad for Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated.
You shouldn't
I
feel
don't
bad.
see.
The
Like what?
hey,
Just like what's like a single like establishment Democrat liberal pundit that's come out and said, hey, if you feel bad for for attacking or for if you feel bad for Kirk after his assassination, then fuck you. You need to be more extreme.
where do
Other
you
than
get,
Destiny doesn't count.
where do they get their ideas? These far leftists that are not. Why don't they listen to the Democrats? If the Democrats are the shining example that doesn't inflame as much as the right, where do they get their ideas from? Like, why would there be that response to Dean Withers?
Because this is like a pre-established like wing faction of the Democratic Party that's been around since like at least the 70s.
So it's not popular enough.
No, like Hassan. Like, I mean, like Hassan does have a big audience. Anna Kasparian does have a big audience. The Majority Report does have a big audience. Like these weird socialist commie types, they do have a big audience, but like they're representative of a portion of the Democratic base that holds no political power.
Okay, so it's kind of the idea it's not happening. So if my feeling is that is a representation of the Democratic Party, that is a representation of the ideas that the Democratic Party itself is
in
hearing.
what way? Okay, can you give me like a single policy that Joe Biden had that was like socialist?
Okay, I'm not talking about policies here. I'm talking about the actual people taking part in the discourse online. They are people that are speaking about voting for Trump or Biden. Okay, that whole idea. Okay,
yeah, what socialist is coming out and saying, "Oh, hey, I'm voting for pro-genocide Biden"?
Okay. What I think the difference that the disagreement that we're coming to here is that these people do count. I think that actually is that thing that you retweeted or you had an issue with or something like that, is that I was saying these people do exist, these far left people, and the far left exists, and they're taking up. I agree with you. They're a very loud minority, but they are perceived as the majority. Okay, and that is a problem.
I don't even know if they're like perceived as the majority anymore.
Okay, so what I want to know is, where are the normal Democrats? Where are they online? And I'm not, when I say online,
like the pundits or the voters.
Yes, the pundits, not the pundits come with the voters. Pundits have audiences.
Okay, Tyler
right?
Brian Cohen is like, from what I understand, like the largest like center left political
Why have I never
figure
heard
on
of him?
Tyler Brian Cohen. He has like 5 million subscribers on YouTube.
Okay, and
David Pacman has like 3 million. Luke Beasley has like 2 million. These are like center people I would consider like liberal center left.
Yeah. Okay. And these people are beyond reproach to you as well.
No, these are the people I do like. Like the center left, like Democrat people. Yeah, Sam Harris is another good example. I love Sam Harris.
Good old time with Sam Harris. What was his comment there on this? Was he one of the people that said tone it down?
I don't know if I saw any of Sam Harris's coverage of this. I just know he's like a pretty center left dude. He was like one of the only people that kind of survived from that liberal, like the whatever dark web, like intellectual dark web or some shit like that.
Okay. The whole idea that there is a pipeline and all of that. Right. So we clearly disagree on this. Okay. You're saying name this, name that. It's still not going to change my mind that Okay, so just understand that.
Well, maybe what do you think is the exemplary? We can just focus on one piece of evidence. What do you think was the exemplar? Is like the defining example that you would bring up as like, okay, yeah, the left is a bigger problem rhetorically than the right.
It is an exemplary. I don't think I have one huge example that's the one. It's the fact that it's constant for many, many years. All of this has just continued, and that for me, the trend is what matters to me. The trend of continuing. Okay,
but what's the
the
biggest...
both sides thing? Literally, when the both sides lie comes out, okay, that the immediate thing of just taking whatever is said and making it the absolute worst thing that can ever have been uttered. That just even that from the mainstream media, and just to go to the normal, the way that well, that's not the normal, the most recent, the way that they have been reporting on this alleged shooter, the way that it is done is not with the kind of scorn that you would get if it was somebody it was this MAGA person. It's, oh well, there were sweet messages and things like that. Again, it's just a lens through which things are perceived, and it's over the top for me. It's irritating, and I can understand. What I will say is there is hypocrisy on the right, because they are abandoning principles now. They're abandoning them because they feel justified because of this political violence.
Yeah, can you name me like one thing that was as bad under Biden's admin as like the head of the FCC coming out and saying like, we're going to try and get Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air for saying mean stuff about Charlie Kirk, or like spreading misinformation about his shooter?
No. I'm thinking of things like BLM riots going on, and that being completely okay. The voice of
who on the left is saying that BLM riots are okay? Not including like the socialists.
Not including you see that's the thing. Like,
yeah, but
I'm
trying to get. That's the core of the point. I'm trying to help you understand that this isn't the majority of the base. This is like maybe 10% of the Democratic Party.
Okay, I don't agree that it is just a small. Basically, what I'm seeing here is the pattern of it's not happening. It's not us. It's not us. Therefore, they're small. They're fringe. Therefore, it's fine. I want to see that normal person coming in and just being visible online to me. That is it. I just want that. I want an actual sane person, and it seems I guess part of it is
look at like any
ecosystem.
Go look at like any like center left like establishment Dem pundit who came out and said, hey, this is kind of fucked.
What do you think of?
We need to tone down the rhetoric.
What do you think of something
political
like Antifa?
Violence is bad. Antifa is bad.
Okay, Antifa's bad.
It's bad organization.
But
they do a lot of like political violence and like instigating and stuff like that. It's bad.
Did Biden designate them as a terrorist group?
No, because I don't think they're like a large, like top-down, like organized group. I don't know if there's like a huge infrastructure to the organization.
Okay, so the whole.
So I don't know if they would. So like I don't know if they would be.
They're not organized enough for them to be designated.
Yeah, I think there has to be like a higher level of coordination to be designated like a foreign domestic terrorist group.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Antifa can kind of like wrap up people in it that don't necessarily know kind of like the darker parts of that movement. Same thing with BLM.
Mm. They don't know the the consequences of that sort of thing.
Well, they just don't know kind of like there's like the message, like a lot of like establishment Dems were like would like maybe virtue signal about BLM or Black Lives Matter, but I don't think they kind of realize how corrupt and fucked up like the actual organization of Black Lives Matter was.
Yeah. Wait, what should I be researching that will change my mind? Because I'm not going to take anything you say at face value. I'm going to have to go and look at it. What would you recommend?
So I would recommend like looking up how many people in the, or how many representatives and senators do we have like politically that are like socialist or maybe like far left in the House and Senate. And then maybe, I don't know if there's like polling that would identify people.
Do they have to be socialist and want socialist policies? What is socialism to you? Okay, because I have to ask you that. There's not a, because you're saying socialist. Does that mean I must look for somebody who calls themselves a socialist, or is there somebody?
Well, socialist, like historically speaking, is like just like the eradication of private ownership or like private capital.
So communism, yeah.
Yeah, and like a command economy. I think communism is a little bit different from socialism. Like communism is just like it's more like anarchy. So there's like no state, there's no like formal government structure whatsoever. Whereas I think socialism, in communism, that's what I understand communism to be.
In like perfect communism, because a communism without the state doesn't seem, I've never heard of that characterization of it. Is that just it in its purest form? It would be anarchy.
I think so, but I'd have to. All I know is it's kind of like a more extreme version of socialism.
Okay.
But yeah, there is a lot of crossover, obviously.
So what kind of policy would be a socialist policy to you? It would be.
So like something that like kind of eradicates, that wants to, like center more, wants to remove like free market exchange and enterprise for more of a command economy. That's why I would say that Mamdani guy's stuff is kind of more socialist than other like the like community store. Like that's a pretty cringe idea. But like even that guy, even like AOC or Bernie Sanders, who are kind of more socialist, like even they, I feel like have had to moderate a lot in recent time because their ideas just aren't politically popular.
Because it's accepting socialism is not a thing.
Like I don't think the majority. I don't know if I know like a single liberal, like establishment Dem that's like, oh yeah, communism is kind of like a cool idea.
Okay. Well, I mean, nobody's going to use that word. I don't think. I think the only people that will actually use the word communism or even socialism are people that are a bit more extreme.
Yeah. So like, just kind of think about the political power. And like where the policies are, like who. Okay, so it's the policies. Who is in government? Like, is the Democratic Party in Congress specifically? Is that representative of like the wokey far left, or is it more representative of kind of like standard establishment Dems like Joe Biden? And what are the key? What are the key, condemnations? People that I can go and look for condemnations of far left things that weren't courting the far left, that were saying this is wrong, that you should really speak to people. Like, well, a really good example
for that.
Well, so like a really good example of this would be like the current mayoral race in in New York, right? Like what the fuck was the guy's name? The old no, not Mamdani, the like older the guy who was like had like all those allegations against him. I'm trying to fucking remember his name. He was the old mayor of New York.
Mayoral race, okay. So like mayoral in
Or even like Eric Adams, like those, like a lot of those guys' messaging is, wow, this guy's like a socialist. You know, he's collaborated with people like Hassan. I don't know if you saw fuck, what was that guy's name? Can't fucking remember, but like he was the old mayor of New York who was like, you know, who's rerunning for mayor, and he's like, look at Mamdani collaborating with this extremist Hassan Piker who said that America deserved 9/11.
This Mamdani guy, what party is he from?
He's a Democrat, but he calls himself a socialist.
So this is an official person at the top.
Well, he's running for mayor in New York City, and he hasn't necessarily even won yet. Like, it's still an ongoing race.
So this you have given to me on a platter somebody that represents the things that I'm worried about.
Yeah, on a local level, in a way that isn't as extreme as like the online far left. Like, because a lot of those online far left guys like still like hate Mamdani because like he's not pro Palestine enough.
Oh, okay. So he's not extreme enough, but still, this seems like
I mean, his ideas are still, I think, can still be criticized. I've been critical of him in the past for like I said, the community store thing is fucking retarded, but
it's silly. I remember that story.
Like even the further left, you know, like politicians aren't far left enough for all of the, you know, all of their old supporters or you know, for the Hassans or the Majority Reports or yada yada yada.
But this guy collaborating with Hassan, what does that make you? I mean, that's a bit worrying then, because then his audience starts voting. Hassan's audience, say Hassan, Destiny, all of them, they vote for him. That sounds like political power that you were saying they don't have.
Well, I think Hassan goes into a lot of those kind of like mainstream democratic spaces, presenting as more of like a populist, you know, kind of progressive left winger, not like a hardcore communist tanky. You know, like he's not going onto these shows and singing the praises of Hezbollah and Hamas, right? Like that would be a big red flag. He's very like masked on. At the ranch.
He does it back at the ranch.
Like I think he's talked about, you know, like I think he's talked about how like he goes into these like mainstream democratic spaces and, you know, kind of goes mask on to hopefully radicalize that audience.
He's
which is bad
about that. Yeah.
But how much political power does Hassan have? You know, like how critical has he been of the Democratic establishment? Like how many people in his audience called Joe Biden like Genocide Joe, right?
Yeah, I think he's extreme on all fronts. But if it comes down to it, he would be winning voters over to independents and Democrats, not to Republicans, and that's the whole point.
I think his messaging was Kamala Harris would be just as bad as Joe Biden. So I don't even know if he told his. Yeah, I think he either told him don't vote or. Yeah, like his messaging was very much like, okay, both kind of suck. You know, both are bad.
That sounds rather independent. Did you have any recommendations? Did you have any recommendations who should be voted for? Who would have been better in their places?
I think he might have just said like don't vote or something like that.
Okay. So yeah,
Hassan... something that you'll notice about some of these further left guys is like the bottom line is, both sides are terrible and support genocide and, are capitalist pigs. You shouldn't vote for either one, right? Like that's why these people don't have any voting power, is because they don't believe in the voting system, right? They kind of just want to see it torn to the ground. But when you have the extremes in Donald Trump's base, which is like 80% of the party that still think the 2020 election was stolen, like those motherfuckers still showed up in droves to vote for Trump. And that's why Republicans are so, that's why their extremes are so much more dangerous, because they actually have political power behind it. Their extremists show up to vote, whereas the extremists on the left don't.
Okay, yeah. The extremists don't, because no one is left enough. Does that make sense then? Does it make sense then that the Democrats would want to court those leftists, those extreme leftists, to try and get them to vote, not to be moderate, to be normal, to get less frothy, but to actually vote for them?
There's been like a lot of
we're the party that. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, there's been like a lot of talk and debate over whether or not we should kind of build bridges towards, like socialists or communists. I think we should, but I don't think we should be capitulating to them. I think we should kind of be getting them on board with liberal ideas.
Yeah. How do you build bridges?
With the far left, it's not fucking easy, I'll tell you that much. But neither is doing it with the right. So.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's one of my big questions is how do you build bridges when everybody is dialed up to us versus them?
Well, like I said, I'm not really interested in building bridges with the right at the moment. It's just not something I'm interested in. If you're like a large pundit and I'm talking to you, we're only ever going to have like disagreements, pretty much. If I'm debating Andrew Wilson again, I think we're probably going to have another conversation sometime soon. Or if, I'm debating fucking Aiden Paladin again, or if I'm debating, I don't know who's like another like big Rattlesnake TV is like another big YouTuber I fucking debated. If I'm fighting with any of those people, the messaging is going to be, you are anti-democratic, you hate my country, you hate the Constitution, and I want you blown the fuck out and ostracized for it.
Instead of you, so do you and you think that that's better?
Yeah, because diplomacy hasn't worked. Being nice and building bridges hasn't worked. And then on top of that, it just normalizes their ideas, which I don't think I want to do either, because they hold a lot of political power. You can have room. So the reason I'm okay with bridge building to the left, to the far left, is socialism, I don't think, is like a rising issue in the United States. Those people don't hold like any political power. Yeah, they're kind of annoying. They're kind of smug. They definitely riot, and they're definitely pretty extreme and out there. But their ideas aren't leading to the destruction of my country. So
okay,
like,
so for you,
maybe if socialism was much more of a prevalent or pressing issue, I would be a lot meaner. But right now, the biggest issue is just the pure and utter lack of respect for the Constitution and pure authoritarianism on the right. That's like 80% of the party.
So they're the biggest threat to democracy. That's for why you don't want to build bridges with them.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad, because don't you think that sort of thing will accelerate towards do you think that there's going to be enough arguments that you have with somebody and BTFOing and all of that, and that will just beat the right down, and they will disappear?
Yeah, like we obviously, you see what happens when the left tries to be diplomatic. The right does not care. So you have to fight fire with fire. That's the only messaging and communication that they understand.
And this is what I'm hearing from people on the right now. They're saying the left doesn't have principles, doesn't care about anything, and and you can't talk to these people. This is the argument that they give me when I say no, we should talk. They say no, the gloves are off because now we've had political violence. We're done with this. We're going to start cancel culture. We're still going to start playing by the rules that we were so highly against. We're starting to play with the tactics that they used, that we were claiming not to use.
Yeah, but they're playing with the tactics that the far left used. Like, cancel culture wasn't like something that a standard like liberal would do. Not generally. Maybe there were some, but like the establishment Dems aren't like pro cancel culture.
Isn't immediately like calling
the right is adopting the extremes of the fringe of our party.
The right is adopting the fringe of the
our party.
Yeah, for you there's very little normal Republicans. What about those normal Republicans?
That's the socialists they hold no political power whatsoever too right now.
So they're not valuable.
Yeah, they're like destroyed or called rhinos, or like like Liz Cheney was fucking obliterated after her work on the J6 committee. Who the fuck was the other like never Trump Republican? Like I said, either you get on board or you get the fuck off. Like Ben Shapiro 4 years ago was like a pretty hardcore never Trump Republican, super critical of the guy, and now he capitulates. He bends the knee or bends over to Donald Trump.
Yeah, to try and keep himself safe in a political position. That's not.
Yeah, because there's no audience for like a center right Republican right now.
There's a center right Republican. There's no audience. Are you saying you're talking about political power? They don't have political power, therefore they don't matter to me. But if you activate,
I didn't say they didn't matter.
Well, like they don't matter. They are not. They're not a threat.
Yeah, they're not like relevant politically.
They're not relevant.
Yeah.
That means they don't matter. When you say they're not relevant, that means they're irrelevant.
You can
which means they don't matter.
I can have disagreements with fascists. I can have disagreements with Nazis. I can have disagreements with communists or socialists. I can have disagreements with all of these people. But the issue is, the second it starts leading towards like ending democracy, it completely obliterates the ability to have that conversation to begin with.
So conversation's over.
Yeah.
So what is it then? If it's not conversation, what is it?
If what's not
conversation? We're not building bridges. If it's not, if we're not conversing, okay. If we're not trying to find common ground, if we're not doing that, what are we doing? Are we rushing towards more political violence?
No, not political violence, but political bullying and ostracization. Yeah.
Meanness. Yeah. Bullying.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But the bullying does then start getting us towards doing physical bullying.
It can, but the second it leads that way, we have to say, okay, maybe we should both settle down. And whenever it does actually happen, the right never says, hey, we need to settle down. Instead they say, we want blood. We're in a war. We want civil war, right?
Yeah,
this is all the radical left Democrats' fault.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name me a single like left pundit that has said after Charlie Kirk's shooting, this is civil war that we're in? No, after the Minnesota shooting. Can you name me like a single one that said? No.
I've got to get that.
That's good. That's all right. I need to go to the bathroom too. I'll be right back.
Sorry guys, BRB. Yeah, very heavy. Sorry, guys. I didn't think we would go this long, and my grocery order just came. It was supposed to come between 10 and 12, and came on time. Okay. Where were we at? We were talking about trying to build bridges, and my thing is no matter what you think about who is more responsible, wouldn't the most prudent thing for us all to do is be the one that says chill instead of continue to fuel the fire? I think the fire is already ignited. People are talking about, oh, it's going to be ignited, whatever. I think the fire is already ignited, and I think the best thing is not to fuel it.
I agree, but the issue is the right does not agree. Hold on, I'm getting...
But then talking about...
Oh, yeah, the right wing does not agree. The right wing does not want to turn down the temperature. Only one side is interested in doing that. And you can't say when a guy is charging you with a knife, unless you're like full on Jesus mode and just want to turn the other cheek, you can't you can't say, oh, hey, maybe we should both chill out here, right? Like if the guy doesn't put the knife down, you're going to have to react.
Okay, so this is a political metaphor you're talking about, yeah? And this is the exact political metaphor that is given to me on the right, from the right.
Yeah, but again, the factual reality is not the same. You can't just have like a never-ending meta conversation. You have to start analyzing and interpreting what's happening in reality.
This thing over here, there is a video here on YouTube that I think so many important for everyone to watch. It's made by Chase Hughes. It's called the Charlie Kirk shooting. That's exactly, we went over that on Tuesday. And that is, it's part of this, basically the message is the elite, the shadow elite, want a divided country because they win no matter what. They win when Democrats are in power, and they win when Republicans are in power because they are interwoven with the power structures themselves. They're established already.
Okay, if you want to have the conversation, that's fine. But like this, when we actually start taking the tinfoil hats off, we have to start acknowledging, hey, there's a problem in the country right now with polarization, and only one side is interested in turning the temperature down.
You see, when you're talking about there's only one side interested in turning the temperature down, that turns the temperature up. You see, focusing on...
No, it's not, hold on. No, it's not turning the temperature up when I'm describing what they're doing, right? Like I said, if they're acting like an authoritarian and I say, hey, you're acting like an authoritarian, that's not me turning the temperature up. That's me acknowledging what's happening because they already turned the temperature up by themselves the second they started to act like an authoritarian.
So that, yeah, okay. So this is inevitable. This division is inevitable.
It's not inevitable. You just have to get the right on board with diplomacy and civility, and they're not interested.
Look, you're saying that they're not interested, but I'm the way that you're characterizing what you propose leftists should do doesn't help the right come to Jesus, essentially.
It does if we help them realize that there are immediate consequences to their actions.
Don't you
yeah,
think
then they'd start to change. Because Republicans don't generally have like values or principles, so you have to like force change upon them. Like they're not going to do it themselves just by virtue of being good people. That's not what Republicans are. At least not like the pundits and the leaders.
At least, okay. So I guess what happens now? What you just keep fighting? I'm thinking you when you say they have to realize, you kind of have to bring the right into the left. Is kind of, you have to convince them. to
Yeah,
turn.
Yeah, it's just like there has to be, and I wouldn't advocate for it, in terms of violence, but there has to be a change on their side, culturally, politically. Like we have to realize, hey, you guys are responsible for making our country shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Take responsibility, and
like Donald Trump being going full fucking Hitler on the border and almost categorically shutting it down and treating any foreigner that steps into the country like they're a fucking enemy of the state is the reason why we've lost hundreds of billions of dollars in tourist revenue this year, right? When he says, like we're gonna like occupy Panama or like we're gonna invade Greenland, like shit. People don't want to come to the country anymore.
When you say people like foreigners in the street, when you talk about that, because the whole, as I understand it, it's if you're illegal, if you come over the border illegally, you're in trouble. Okay, so this whole thing we lost. We people were afraid of going to America because they thought they would get deported. That's why you lost that much money in tourism. Don't you think the rhetoric of he's taking everyone in the streets and throwing them out of the country, don't you think that fuels
Mm-hmm.
that fear?
Now, do you think that walking up to someone like Mahmoud Khalil and without due process detaining him and revoking his lawful permanent residence,
that's wrong? That's
yeah.
wrong. But now sitting and going, that's going to happen to everybody. That's going to happen to everybody that came here, that comes to America. It's going and taking that and blowing it into absolutely everybody that is walking on the streets in America is in danger. Don't you think that itself is
No, but it's something like alligator Alcatraz is like a pretty clear message to, hey, if you're a foreigner, fuck you.
I don't think so.
Like it's a pretty clear. Like, why would you do something that cartoonishly evil?
Again, also adding to this alligator Alcatraz, all of that makes people think that they are. If as soon as they land, you walk in with a visa and you're going to be thrown out because of it. You're literally landing at an airport going. You're not coming over the border.
People who are here legally, like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The dude was an LPR. He had a lawful permanent resident. He had a green card. And he was fucking deported to a torture prison.
Mm-hmm. Was he a family man? And all of that, like, what was he?
There wasn't any evidence that he was part of Tren de Aragua.
But did they consider it? Is that what they believed of him?
Well, it was an allegation that hadn't gone through the courts yet.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. He wasn't formally charged until they returned him to the United States by order of the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. So there was like due process and things for this person.
Yeah, eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's good if you murder someone and then like a week later you turn yourself in. It's good you turned yourself in eventually. Like you did the right thing after you did the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean by that. But I'm still thinking that using those stories as this is going to happen. This is what the vilification. Going, this is not hey, this is a mistake, this is a problem. Instead, this is what Trump wants. Trump wants everybody who is a foreigner to be thrown out, blah, blah, blah. That rhetoric exists. And that would lead.
When you look at alligator Alcatraz, what else do you draw from that? Something like that cartoonishly, comically evil. Like we're gonna hold foreigners in a detainment facility that's surrounded by alligators.
Yeah, they made the moat. They dug out a moat and they put alligators in.
Yeah, like
It's not just that there's alligators around.
what does that message to people?
Well, the people that don't break our law.
You think every illegal immigrant? Hold on. Do you know what
Every illegal immigrant? It's in the name, illegal.
Do you know what do you know what cruel and unusual punishment is?
I understand, but I also know what a deterrent is.
And
Cruel and unusual. Ooh, the death penalty can be.
do you think the United States should be in the business of acting like of appearing evil to the rest of the world? Like as the world leader, should we act like dictators? Even just rhetorically speaking, like a lot of people, like Greenland, like people, like sure maybe it was a joke. Why is the president of the United States talking about invading an ally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
even in jest.
Yeah, even in jest, I agreed. It's silly. It's stupid stuff. It's talking shit.
It's not just silly. Like that's so unbelievably irresponsible.
Okay, so people
rhetorically.
Hold on. For Daisy, axe treats, not for Gordon treats nuts. Alligators Alcatraz is an awesome name.
Yeah, like you meme about it, but like people are being put into these fucking torture camps.
They're torture camps.
Yeah, people are being deported to CCOT. The El Salvador
gang members though.
No, not even like Abrego Garcia, like I said, it was only alleged. He wasn't formally charged until he was returned to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
No due process.
Okay, but he's formally charged, and then he found out. They found out that he was in fact not an innocent baby.
No, he hasn't been convicted. He's just been charged. It's still going through the courts. Right now, it seems like he's probably winning his court case.
Okay. Well,
that's why you need due process.
The thing is, we didn't have due process with all the illegal people jumping over the border. Do you see that? That didn't happen. The due process of creating immigrants did not happen then. So what's happened is they're trying to get the sheer amount of people means that he's doing these he's taking extreme measures.
There weren't insane amounts of people coming over the border like in the last year and a half.
In the last year and a half. So these people, what happened to the people that came in previously? They exist.
They're here on asylum.
No, they're not.
Asylum.
They're literally illegal. They're not official asylum seekers. They're just out there running around.
You know the majority of people that come here illegally come to seek asylum.
They come to seek asylum, yes, but they don't actually get it. They don't go through the process.
Most don't.
They can go and walk around and live in America and benefit from America. Okay?
Yeah, most don't. But you can't just deport people who are technically here legally on legal status. Asylum seekers are here on legal status. You can't just deport them.
You have to be registered
without due process.
An asylum. Don't you have to be registered? There is due process to be an asylum seeker. You don't just get magically become an asylum seeker when you go over the border.
Yeah, so under the aliens, I forgot the name of the statute, but like literally all you have to do is walk up to a port of entry, step onto American soil, and say, "Hey, I want to claim asylum," and then you're an asylum seeker, and you're just here. That's why we had like almost 1 million people apply for asylum in 2023, which is a huge amount.
And what is wrong with rejecting asylum?
You can't just do it outright. It's illegal.
what illegal? It's illegal to say, listen, we can't take you in here.
Yeah, that's the law in the
Okay, so-
books.
So yeah, that
It needs,
is
it
that
needs
a
to be
good
repealed.
law?
It's a really no, it's not.
Yeah, that's a shitty law because you
Yeah,
can't
it
take
is.
responsibility for the whole planet.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't take responsibility for every person that.
but
that
you can't
comes-
just kick people out without due process, especially if they're here like on legal status.
if they're here on legal status, I would agree. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
they
most
should
asylum
be
seekers are
ashamed.
here legally, technically, because they're an asylum seeker.
Yes, and I understand they should be ashamed. The people that make these mistakes, because people are like, oh, it's a mistake. That is a huge fucking mistake. And I know that there's going to be mistakes, and fine, we have to deal with it. But
Oh, sorry, what's a
should
mistake?
be the mistake of deporting the wrong person, deporting somebody that actually didn't need to be deported. Somebody that isn't part of MS-13 or whatever it's called. That whole thing. That is crazy, yes.
Mhm.
But-
So when the president of the United States doubles down on the deportation of Abrego Garcia, right? You don't think that's like a bad look?
No, he believes that the guy needs to be deported.
Or
He believes
after-
he believes that it is a gang member. That is a gang member. It's not a person that's an innocent.
Yeah, for a guy that hadn't been proved to be a gang member yet.
Mhm.
Or
Okay.
when you have like Marco Rubio coming out after Mamhu Khalil was detained and set for deportation, when you have Marco Rubio coming out and saying, if you support Hamas in any capacity, we're going to deport you.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, don't you think those are bad?
Yeah. It's like I did say, it is bad when somebody is not a criminal, and you deport them. But the thing is, illegal immigrants are already criminals. They've already broken the law. Literally,
No,
if
legal
I
immigrants
spend-
aren't already criminals.
They are criminals because they're
No, they're not.
illegal.
No, they're
Okay,
not.
well,
So there are hold on, no, because this is something that a lot of right wingers say as well. Illegal immigration isn't necessarily criminal. There's also a civil aspect to it. It's you can be held civilly liable for something like overstaying a visa, and that's the majority of illegal immigrants in the U.S. I think it's like 65% of illegal
Yes.
immigrants are undocumented immigrants, which are just like immigrants that overstayed their visa.
you're not an immigrant then. You're a migrant. You've come over. You're a criminal. If I did not renew my visa here, I would be thrown on a plane and sent back to South Africa, and that would be absolutely the right of this country to do.
Yeah, that would be the right of the country, but we don't want mass deportations right now either.
Why not?
Like there are better ways to get rid of a lot of people that have come here illegally.
How?
And well, something that I liked that the Biden admin did was under borders and custom protection, they expanded a lot of programs to incentivize voluntary removal. So
they choose to leave.
yeah, so like it's a much better, more diplomatic way of deporting people instead of pissing off like our neighboring countries because we're acting so hostile towards people migrating from them.
What about the couldn't
I think
yeah.
I think under Joe Biden in 2024 we had like the highest repatriation rate, which is just number of total removals in a single year since like 2010. It was like 800,000 people had left the country. The majority of which were voluntarily.
But
removed.
what about the people that were coming over the border during his administration? Because the
Well,
border
after
itself was not secure, the border itself was not, and there was no like proper mass condemnation of this. Hey, America come through the right channels?
No, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got like pretty like at least they got like really aggressive with the deportations. Joe Biden specifically like was talking about, hey, you know, like there's a serious problem at the border right now. Like we need to get serious about it. And then yeah, he like they had really high deportation numbers last year. It was like almost 300,000 people, I think. But he did it in a way that didn't piss off the rest of the world.
Do you think America's pissed off at the rest of the world?
No, I think a lot of the world is pretty pissed off at America right now.
But I want to know, does America have the right to be pissed off with the rest of the world?
I don't think so. No.
Like Mexico.
It depends on like what parts of the world.
Yeah, like Mexico. Couldn't it be pissed off with Mexico because Mexico is, you're not supposed to be an asylum country. You're not an asylum country. You're not in a war zone. You're not controlling your citizens.
Well,
you're kind of incentivizing them to leave and thinking that
asylum is just like asylum seekers are just people who are like seeking asylum from like political or religious persecution.
Yes. And
yeah.
And that
doesn't mean you have to be like in a war zone.
Political. Okay, so I could come, right? I could go and
you could come. Well, are you reasonably being persecuted for like religious or political reasons?
Yeah. If I'm in South Africa, we could go and cite all the laws that South Africans. I mean, we got those. What did you think of those South African refugees, essentially? Like
I don't know. I know fuck all about South Africa.
So
I'm more concerned about what's happening on my own soil.
Well, the white South Africans, I think they actually were granted asylum and allowed into America, and that was egregious.
Good if they have legitimate reasons to be seeking asylum. That's good. Yeah, good for them.
So
too bad they're not brown.
But what about? Why is it too bad? Why? What's wrong with being white?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant, it's a good thing that they're not brown.
Oh, that's why they're allowed in.
Yeah.
That's why everyone wants to take them in. But they did go through a whole process, right? They didn't fly to Mexico, jump over the wall, and come through, right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of asylum seekers technically come here like through a process.
Okay, and what about the people that cross through countries that can take them as asylum seekers? They cross through those countries and go to the US.
Well, I mean, obviously, we want to incentivize those countries to stop allowing as many people in who are kind of crossing through, which is what Biden and Harris did, for the record. They made a lot of peace deals, not just with Mexico, but like with Guatemala, with Venezuela, with all of these different South American countries, because they very diplomatically, like had good relations with all of these people. I think Kamala had like a big trip where she visited a bunch of these, South American countries that have a lot of people migrating to the US. It's not just Mexico, right? Like they kind of understood, hey, like there are people coming further south than just Mexico.
Yeah, there's from further south.
Yeah. And instead of like bulldozing, our relationship with literally our neighboring country, right? Like they kind of understood. Hey,
okay.
Yeah, like they kind of understood, hey, we should probably approach this in a diplomatic way, in the same way that they got a lot of people to voluntarily remove themselves.
So yeah, that's the way forward. The forcible removal is just, it's not good optics.
I mean, you can have like Biden and Harris did have a lot of forcible removals. They had high deportation rates, especially like in 2024. That's why the the crossings dropped off so dramatically from 2023.
So it was a deterrent, yeah.
Yeah, it can be a deterrent, but like I said, they also were diplomatic. They got a lot of people to leave voluntarily. They also had good relations with the countries south of Mexico.
So they did forcible and they did diplomatic.
Yeah, you can't just be forceful. Of course, being forceful isn't inherently bad, but when that's all you do, yeah.
Well, I think the justification for that force is the crisis, the level of there's no time.
There's no crisis right now. There's no reason to be hard on the border. There wasn't going into 2025. Like the border numbers had already decreased massively from 2023 to 2024.
But yeah, you do agree that the forceful stuff does then deter people.
Yeah, but like there's like a scale to it. You know, you can't just categorically completely isolate yourself from the rest of the world. You have to be diplomatic and political about it. You can't be a raving retard like Donald Trump who comes in with a buzzsaw to the fucking government and tries to pretend like he's fixing it.
Well, he thinks he is. That is, and people are happy with what he's done with that.
I think
his base.
Yeah, his base, but I mean, even then, like a lot of people aren't happy about a lot of stuff that he did because he's failed to fulfill like so many campaign promises that he came in on.
Yeah, and then everything that he says, but if you ask him, he's done everything. Everything is great. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look, my camera is dying. We've almost been going for 3 hours. It's been very enjoyable. Is there anything else you want to cover?
I wish you could bring up like an example of, you know, like left-wing rhetoric that's really fiery, that's worse than the right, comparably worse than the right. That isn't that isn't like a socialist or like a college student.
For me, that is not. It would behoove us to actually go beyond the comparison now. To go beyond it. It's talking about the what, who did what. Oh, this side, that side. That is part of the division. That is part of turning the volume up. So actually stepping back and not engaging in that might be the next thing that has to happen, which I've been wrestling with because I'm like, I want to get into the truth of the matter. I want to be like that. But actually it's like considering the environment is so polarized anyway, it doesn't matter. Nothing I can say will make the right go, oh, okay, fine. Therefore, we should. The left wasn't to blame. Nothing I can say will change their minds on that.
Have you had any discussions with like any big right wingers before?
No, of course I haven't.
No.
Okay, I don't live in America. I'm not able to go and sit at the table.
Well, no, I mean, like you don't you can reach out to any of these people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I have a fraction of the audience that you do, and I just debated Andrew Wilson. You know, you just got to go on these shows and talk to people.
Yeah, well, I'll go on their shows, absolutely. But yeah, you know what? I'll focus on that side. I think then I'll focus on my side. I suppose you are focusing on my side too. So
yeah, the right wing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, whereas I think one of the best things somebody had said is do house cleaning on your own side.
My house is pretty fucking clean over here. You guys live in like a Detroit, you know, like run down, you know, ghetto, like 8 Mile Road.
Yeah.
kind of kind of house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll focus on that, and I think maybe that's actually better. Is focus on your own side, guys. If we can't build a bridge, then at least try and make yourself your side a little bit more decent.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
If you can't admit faults, nobody will trust you correctly. So that's it. It's looking into. I think actually, I want to see what you think of this quickly. I said I was going to read it in my next stream, but I didn't bring it up. Damn it. Let me just go. It was something. People talking about the death penalty. Here we go. So basically, this is somebody. We went over the Chase Hughes video that basically pointed to the media and the shadow cabal elites that win with division, right? And he was dissatisfied with that idea that the media is the problem and the people that belong to the media, the covert elite, are the problem. So he writes here. So just think of that. What Chase Hughes meant. I dislike that Chase Hughes is attempting to reframe the issue from left versus right to shadowy, rich, and powerful versus everyone else. While the media is absolutely deranging discourse and bears much responsibility for where our society is at, they're not the only actor, and demonizing them is only going to lead to further splintering into hateful factions. So what do you think of that? That's the first paragraph.
That trying to frame things as elite versus common man is bad compared to right versus left. Is that what it was trying to say?
Yeah, it's trying to say you have more. One of the main messages that Chase Hughes was trying to say is you have more in common. We have more in common, or you have more in common with your neighbor that has a MAGA hat on than with each other than a person in the newsroom doing all of the editorializing and whatever in CNN, or the actual owner of media conglomerates. You have more in common with a person who votes differently to you than the person at the top there putting money into both parties and all of that. Look into the humanity essentially of your
anyone that tries to reframe it as it's them, it's the elites, the cabal. Some people, I think Candace Owens just made a whole video about how it's actually the Jews that are dividing us. Yeah, anyone that does that was like a fucking retard.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's not it for you. I think this is a civilized. So let's see what this person thinks. Yeah, I think this is a civilizational issue. The typical politics enjoyer, so like person online, wants to be fed rage bait, and I think you know that. And so the only way anything can get better is if everyone undertakes the effort to become less hateful and more cooperative while owning past faults. Everyone.
I agree. We just, both parties have to get on board with it.
Yeah, but the right
and one party doesn't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Those responsible for sowing discord need to be held responsible and ostracized until they play nice with everyone. I want to see a group of people who condemn radicalizing rhetoric everywhere they can find it, while adding people willing to be responsible with their rhetoric, regardless of disagreements. So yeah, this is kind of like amplify the people that are playing nice and push away, denounce the people that are not playing nice. So I guess that brings me to, okay, fine, you're busy trying to point it out on the right. I think it's on the right, it's people on the right obligation to do that to their own base.
Again, you have to, the right doesn't want to police itself, so you have to do the policing for them.
Okay, well, I think the sowing discord thing, the fact that you're focusing on the right, maybe you're sowing discord there, but that's fine. I get this is a huge ask, I get that the right doesn't feel like it's time to turn the other cheek. I get that the left thinks they've been tolerant this whole time. So unfortunately, I don't have much hope because I think people want to become worse. That's something that really hit home because I think people want to just dial it up. But
One
what do you
side
say to
does
that?
to suggest otherwise.
Yes,
It's retarded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only the right, right? Only the right
Yeah,
wants
pretty
to become
much.
worse. Okay. So I don't think that Chase Hughes is being helpful, though much of what he says is correct. The better reframe is something like everyone versus themselves. Pointing to the evil in someone else won't de-escalate anything. Instead, one ought to highlight how they will personally do better. I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty good thing to take forward. We need the typical politics enjoyer to be someone like Kirk who would have cordial conversation while starkly disagreeing. We need the typical pundit to attack ideas while simultaneously respecting people. Good versus evil is too simplistic. Humans versus their own base nature is going to work much better as a battlefield.
You can't just have like exchanges of ideas when the other side wants you dead.
That's exactly what the right thinks. That is
Yeah,
exactly,
but they're not correct.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
But what do you think of the fact that the Charlie Kirk was killed? Come on.
By a fucking weirdo lunatic that had nothing to do with the Democratic Party. Yeah, he was like a far leftist. Probably, yeah, it was probably his motivations. Maybe he was radicalized by, you know, people saying like, oh, Donald Trump is a fascist, yada, yada, yada. But that's not our fucking fault. It's Donald Trump's for being a fucking fascist.
Okay, so it's Donald Trump's fault for being a fascist. This is what you get. Are you the way I've heard Destiny phrase this is you voted for this.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk probably wouldn't have been shot if Donald Trump was president again.
If Donald Trump wasn't president again.
Yeah, if he wasn't president right now, he probably wouldn't have been fucking shot.
Okay. That's sad. All right. Look, disagree. But I think what I'm taking from this is fine. I want to look into the actual representatives of the Democratic Party. Look at what the discourse is underneath there. Underneath their posts. And also what I want to do is look into what the right is saying as well. In terms of how what they mean by this means war. What does this mean? You walk around with guns and you shoot people that have a rainbow flag on their bag or something like that? No. So, any final thoughts from you, Corbin? Actually, Corbin, where are you? Let me get your link. Can you get it here? I'm sure people are asking for it. Sorry, I haven't put it in the description yet. And then also, can you tell me what you're doing? You said you got other things on the go, people that you're going to talk to.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be speaking like one-on-one with Destiny again pretty soon. I'm supposed to be speaking with Z again soon. Probably going to be debating Andrew Wilson again sometime soon.
What would you be
just doing
debating?
debates.
Just finding something you disagree.
I don't know what we wouldn't want to debate on. He mostly does like religion and philosophy. So maybe we'll do something on that. Yeah, just having conversations. I hope other ones that I have are more productive than this one. You can find me on YouTube at Corbin Sayles and TikTok under the same name and on Instagram under the same name. It should be all like in my link tree in my YouTube bio. Moving along and having fun. Thank you for having me on, even though I don't think this conversation was very good or productive. I do appreciate you having the time and giving me like 3.5-4 hours of your day. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I find it was, for me, at least it was productive because I understand, I could just hear what you're saying without constant interruption and constant this and that and fighting about it. And yeah, just give me some things to look at, to see, to fact check for myself. But yeah, also just make, yes, it has made me feel a bit better about being a centrist-ish kind of person that's calling out shit on both sides.
I'm glad I could reinforce that feeling for you.
Yeah, sorry, that's why you don't want, that's why you are upset about it being, it's not productive. If you've reinforced that for me, I understand.
Yeah.
Also, just one last thing. When was the last time you touched grass?
This morning I went out and ate some grass and then mooed and then got milked. So
Come
that's
on.
the last time.
When was the last time you touched a plant? Do you have house plants?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay,
I've like a big like backyard space in the apartment complex I live in, but
go there. Literally, just go there and touch the grass.
listen,
It's a big old
I'm
town.
in the actually I don't touch the grass. I touch the sand. Okay, I live by the beach. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
you
it.
the
My life is
ocean.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna go touch
Yeah.
the sand. That's my thing.
Yeah, I want to go to the beach this weekend. I think I'm going to do that. Touch sand, everybody. All right. I'm going to, yeah, that's it. Corbin, thanks for coming on for the conversation. Thank you for being so polite. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I was expecting a lot more aggression. Yeah.
Or maybe next time.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, and thanks for the super chats. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I will probably be, let's see if I do another stream later on. Okay. Have a nice life, everybody. Okay, thanks, bye.
I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a menace, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a menace, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. We're squirky as fuck. She goes meow 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 meow. We're squirky as fuck. Okay, thanks. Bye.